subscribe.
To fight for the people of Israel. I will continue to fight for Israel's existence. Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people.
Listen to me, iPhone warriors in worldwide poverty-stricken hermitages. Believe the picture and see the truth. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 6 equals 7. 7 equals 8 equals ending the eternal control of hyperfucker, sissy boy prostate gods and Latino cream king slut warriors forever. Look at the numbers flying into your eyeballs and ingest them through the intestines and out the sphincter of eternity into your brainwaves, reverberating worldwide into 4 billion people, globe-wide into pure strain, gold poverty forever, culminating in the free market system equals eternal peace and liberty for all souls in the sensual chokehold of Steely Dan's enormous...
You need to get up and go to the back of the bus. Do you understand me? Why are you not listening? You belong in the back. Go now.
I ain't finna move.
Put your bad self. Say it loud.
Why do you think so many people may be trying to kill you?
They go after consequential presidents. They go after presidents that do things. If you look at what I've done, we've turned this country around. Taking a country that was actually a dead country, it was dying very rapidly, and it's the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful day today. It is Wednesday. We made it to the middle of the week, and I have got a great show for you. Maybe even some good news. Maybe not quite, but almost a white pill Wednesday, which I know everybody's been asking for. Like, instead of the doom and gloom with the rage bait, can we just do a white pill Wednesday? Maybe, maybe a little bit. And, my smile might betray the inner rage bait that might come out later on. But, dude, we got some lolcows to talk about, okay? We got some fun content to talk about, all right? We got some fun stuff to do. But before we get to all of that, we might as well introduce the gentleman who appeared during the middle of the intro. Richard, how is your night going, sir?
Good. We got a rare W.
A rare W? I mean, it's a W, okay? Any way you look at it, it's a W. Will it be everything you hope and dream? Will it pan out in the long run? Who knows, okay? But just shut up for a minute and enjoy the fireworks, okay? Because at least it's kind of fun. But other than that, how's your week going?
Well, about as good as it can be. I'm here.
Not as good as it could be. Like, what are you talking about, man?
I said about as good as it could be.
Oh, about as good as it could be. Okay, I was going to say, geez.
Yeah, I'm here with you guys.
Listen, okay, I put a gun to the head of federal judges to get this thing remanded, and you're like upset at me. I did all I could, bro. Jeez. But speaking of people who have done all they could, okay, maybe we'll start like a new segment where we just start out the show with like the worst take possible. It's like retard of the week, retard of the day. Just something, okay? Because gotta have one bad take, one really disastrously bad take to start off every stream. So here's this week's stream. Jerry Rig Everything says everyone's an ultra brave hero from the safety of their keyboard on the internet. This is, of course, referring to the Idaho In-N-Out shooting that happened earlier this week, and of course, the gentleman who responded to it with a suppressed 5.7. That AR-15, all right, buddy, could put 10 supersonic rounds in your chest before your car got halfway there. They'd need dental records, talking about dentists. Dentists hate this early in the stream. They'd need dental records to identify your body, assuming they could find any of your teeth. Ban assault rifles. Man, starting out so early and so cringe. That's right. Did you guys know that if you got shot 10 times with an AR-15, probably less, honestly, it would literally atomize you to where they might not even be able to identify you with fingerprints, should there be any fingers remaining, dental records, anal records. There'll be nothing left, okay? Nothing for them to find because of the power of the mighty, impressive 223/556. As Chud says, yes, what is this, Obama era? Yeah, it's a throwback to old school retardation, which is why, listen, it's the big 2.6. We're just recycling everything every 10 years. What's old is new again. And here we have a boomer retarded take from Jerry Rig Everything. Now, this guy has like 1 million followers. I know he has like a YouTube channel that does a bunch of stupid, retarded stuff, or maybe it's useful content. But that's the thing. A lot of the times you get these people who are like really knowledgeable in a specific area of their life or in some niche, but then you find out, unfortunately, that they actually suck at everything else and they're like terrible people. You know, maybe it's a bit of don't meet your heroes, but also like just assume everyone on the internet, including me, is insanely retarded in real life. All right, that's a good assumption that will pay off more often than not. Okay.
Now, I believe that this gentleman, I believe his name is Zach. I could be wrong, but I think his wife is in a wheelchair. So he's a big fan of the ally crowd, if you will.
Right, of course. But I mean, he's one of those guys where he's like, listen, guys, I own guns. Therefore, my opinion on guns is heckin' valid or whatnot. It's the same thing as like, I don't know, Platinum dude who was like, oh no, I own guns and I shoot competitions and that's why we should ban them all because it's just too dangerous out there. Because listen, all right, I've been looking at the statistics and lots of people die in these mass shootings that happen to happen in really dark neighborhoods, if you know what I'm saying. You know, all these mass shootings that happen with, checks notes, handguns with switches on them. We got to ban assault rifles. Assault rifles are darn dangerous, kid. They could atomize you, bro. Literally atomize you into nothingness. And of course, this guy got mocked incessantly for his bad take. Very bad take. The AR-15 of death. Yeah. Exactly. As Oram just says, I own the guns. I want to ban you from owning specifically. Truk. All right. Anyways, let's move on from this to, well, you know, maybe we'll have a dual retard of the week segment. So here we have former Prime Minister Stephen Harper alongside the JTF2. These are Canadian special forces. So relax, okay? Special forces has a very different connotation in Canada than it does in the US, okay? So may not mean the same thing everywhere you go. It's kind of like Indian special forces, like, sure, buddy. Former Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper worked closely with Canada's elite special operations forces, including Joint Task Force 2, widely known as JTF2, through his time in the office from 2006 to 2015. And, you know, they just put up some handy dandy little photos here. Why can't I click on the back? Oh, there it is. Okay. And you might notice some of the setups of JTF2 are interesting, to say the least. So here we have a clamshell two-piece, you know, handguard, not even the free-floated version, I believe, with an EOTech on it. At least there's no riser. A riser would make it complete. Now, keep in mind, this is a decade ago when people were still figuring out, where do I put my optic? Fortunately, most people settled on the receiver, you know, like this whole underutilized area on your AR. Actually, you know, after we moved on from the A2, we pretty much specifically designed this area to hold your optics. It actually does a great job of doing that. The handguard can work, but is considered by most to be suboptimal. So you will notice, of course, everyone else has their optics set up in the proper position. It's just this one guy who did not get the memo. Another little thing that I noticed is that this is like a 12.5, maybe an 11.5. So it's like kind of a cool barrel length for the time. Keep in mind, this was about a decade ago. Stock all the way collapsed for, I guess, like ultra CQB fast movement. Maybe that's why he put the optic so far forward, is because the stock is all the way collapsed. So he wanted the optic to be further away from his face. So, because this is a shorty build. It's interesting. And also, you have an ALS holster attached to your LBE, which looks to be some old style. I'm not even sure if that's a plate carrier or just a chest rig. I think that's just a chest rig because I don't see any plate bags in the back. So very interesting setup here by JTF2. Yes. FBI said 11.5 is peak. Well, spoiler alert, everyone said that the 11.5 is peak. Now, speaking of the FBI or feds and 11.5s, we have chilling new photos of the thing that just continues to happen over and over again. Also ironic that this happens on the same day that GOA announces the win of suppressors and SBRs. But chilling photo of heavily armed man at Trump's LA golf course released as new details emerged of alleged plot revealed a potential tragedy was averted. Federal authorities have released the mugshot of a man caught with an illegal rifle and body armor. Listen, no rifle is illegal on stolen land, okay? And body armor while allegedly scouting President Donald Trump's Los Angeles Golf Club ahead of his visit this week. G9? I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce that. I mean, spoiler alert, like, take your pick, I guess. G9, John Talley, 38, was charged by the Justice Department with possession of an unregistered short-barreled rifle after his arrest on Saturday at Trump National Golf Club, Los Angeles, in Rancho Palos Verdes. If convicted, the felony charge carries a minimum sentence of 10 years in federal prison, which is kind of insane. Now, again, maybe this is just John's conspiratorial brain working a little overtime here, but maybe this happening on the same day that the federal government is going to be reviewing whether to contest the removal of SBRs from the NFA. You know, maybe this is just conspiratorial John. Maybe, you know, this is going to prompt them to appeal it, to fight back, and to send it to the Supreme Court, which will take 2 to 3 years, and we won't actually end up getting the win that any of us want. So here he is. John Talley, 38, was charged by the Justice Department with possession of an unregistered short-barreled rifle, and it looks like kind of a simple little setup. Now, there are some things that I'm aware of that you guys might not be. Now, this is obviously Magpul stock. That's fine. Unity riser with a EXPS something or other. We have what looks to be an O-light, maybe, because it's at the magnetic. I don't think that's a stream light. But then up on top, we have an old, trashy, garbage SMS laser that does not hold zero. Ask me how I know, because I use these. I think they're part of my series, Amazon optics that suck or something like that. I did 3 or 4 reviews on Amazon IR lasers and Viz lasers and white lights and IR illuminators. And spoiler alert, they're basically all garbage, right? And the SMS laser is one of them. So that is a weird screw-in tape switch thingy that may or may not work. So honestly, looking at this, it is a nice ambi lower. It looks like the LMT or LWRC. It hopefully is a real EOTech, but he must have spent all his money on the lower and the optic and had nothing left for the light and laser. Right? So, you know, fair enough to the guy, I guess. So he was over here searching this place ahead of Donald Trump's visit, as you do. I feel like Trump kind of does this to himself. You know, in a weird way, he's kind of asking for it, considering he spends so much time on golf courses, which are kind of wide open areas, right? So listen, if you're a president or any sort of powerful figure who has people that want to kill you, right, as, you know, these people tend to do, whether rightly or wrongly, right, of course, you know, heading to a large open area where you're going to be almost stationary for several hours at a time, and you have like a known circuit that you go around the course on, right? It just seems obvious. It's like, yeah, where's somebody going to try and take a shot at President Trump? Obviously, it's going to be at one of the golf courses. All right. Duh. That's right. Spec says, now watch this drive. Now watch this drive, guys. Very true. Very correct. So, anyways, he got arrested. He's done. There was some interesting reporting on him, I guess you could say. So, the California Post says, armed man at Trump National Golf Club is decorated veteran with multiple tours, right? They try and build him up to be some like elite special forces type, because I think they actually went back and edited this headline to make it seem worse. Reaching the rank of corporal while assigned as a warehouse clerk with the elite 1st Reconnaissance Battalion at Camp Pendleton. So, I mean, I don't know how the military works, never been in, don't care about any of that stuff, but it just seems to me that I don't know if elite and warehouse clerk really go in the same sentence, right? I mean, supply lines and logistics are incredibly important to any sort of military operation, of course, but warehouse clerk and frontline spec ops, CAG, Delta, dev crew guy, maybe not belonging in the same sentence together, okay? But good luck to him in his endeavors, I suppose. I mean, it looks like he's at least going to be getting hit by the FBI and ATF. Now, I am, again, curious about the timing, because this is as GOA and others have unveiled their win in a federal district court, saying that SBRs are not only unconstitutional for them to enforce because there's now no tax on it. So I suppose that is just a tier 1 barcode scanner. True. Anyways, so that is kind of a good segue into the main story of the evening, the White Pill Wednesday, as it were. Gun owners of America. Breaking in GOA's case, a federal court just struck down NFA registration for suppressors, short-barreled rifles, and short-barreled shotguns. Now, I watched Mr. Guns and Gear video on it. He did a really good job kind of breaking everything down, so I'll kind of highlight some of the stuff that stuck out to me as well. So, obviously, after the big, beautiful bill passed 1 year ago, right, Richard? It was last July. July 4th is when he signed it in.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so exactly 1 year ago, basically, we had the big, beautiful bill, which removed the tax element to all this stuff. And then fast forward to 12 months, well, because there is no tax on any of the stuff, the way that it worked was because it was a tax, they have the ability to enforce it, right? Congress has the ability to, through funding provisions or whatnot, maintain taxes, right? That's part of their actual job. But since there is no tax anymore, they have no jurisdiction to enforce suppressors, short-barreled rifles, or short-barreled shotguns. So now, according to this federal court, that has been struck down. Now, it is not a blanket enforcement. It is specifically limited to the people in the lawsuit, which is Gun Owners of America members, Palmetto State Armory. So I don't know if that's just Palmetto State Armory employees or Palmetto State Armory customers. Because if it's Palmetto State Armory customers, then that's like literally everyone, right? And then there's also Silencer Shop, which, I mean, I'm a Silencer Shop member or customer or whatnot. So maybe I'm also covered by it. And then one other group I want to say as well. So if you're one of those 4 people, which is probably most of you in one way or the other, this will eventually cover you, because the little update to it is that the federal government has put a 1-week stay on the order. So for 1 week, the federal government can choose whether they're going to fight it at the DOJ level and remand it up to the higher courts, or whether they're going to just let it go by. Now, if they stand down, if they do not appeal, if they do not remand it to the higher courts, it's going to basically be law for all intents and purposes. So if you are a member of GOA, a Palmetto State Armory customer, Silencer Shop customer, or again, that other 4th group, which I forget off the top of my head, you will theoretically be able to have suppressors shipped directly to your door. No tax stamp, obviously. No paperwork for the tax stamp. No registration for the suppressors. and that includes short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, yada, yada, yada. Now, what's interesting for me, or for all of you guys, is that this also includes future members of GOA. So if you go over to the GOA website, you can become a member for $25. So like, you know, if you're not a member of GOA, if you're not a silencer shop or Palmetto State Armory customer, you could theoretically just, you know, give Gun Owners of America $25 and become a member, then you're covered under this injunction, right? Which is interesting. Now, again, there is a 7-day stay on it. So for 7 days, the government is going to figure out whether they're going to fight it or not, because they do have the opportunity to appeal the federal judge's decision in this matter. If they do not appeal, that's when it's basically law. So we have 7 days where we don't really know what's happening. Now, on one hand, which I think is unlikely, I think that they will appeal. I think that they will fight it, even though Trump has pretended to be like the most pro-2A president of all time. I will say that he has given us one of the biggest pro-2A wins of all time in the Big Beautiful Bill, removing the tax stamp element of it, which has then led us to the point where we are here, even if that's kind of an unintended side consequence, right? But I have a bit of a gut feeling that they're not going to want suppressors and SBRs to just be essentially free for everyone and remove that level of enforcement. Now, keep that in mind, that there are people actively who are, you know, have pending litigation, as that gentleman does, or active litigation, or are behind bars currently for suppressor or SBR violations. So I am kind of curious how all of that shakes out as well, if this were to pass, if they do not intend to appeal it. If they do appeal it, which I think will probably be the more likely outcome, that they do appeal it, well, then it goes up to the higher courts and you'll have an injunction for like, or a, you know, a stay of enforcement or whatever it's called for like 2 years, right? And so in 2 years, during the next administration, maybe we get a win, maybe we don't, right? Yeah. Now, some states won't abide, says Bodie McBoatface. Yes, this will go back to each individual state. Now, I live in a very red state, one of the most red states that there can be, and we have a bunch of suppressor manufacturers here. I guarantee you my state personally will not put some enhanced restrictions on suppressors, right? If you live in a blue or a purple state, well, then yes, I'm sure that they will determine to add some sort of other restriction on your ability to get SBRs or suppressors, right? It's not really going to save you if you live in a bad state, right? Not going to happen. For me, though, you know, pretty good. So this is their release as of today. Gun Owners of America and fellow plaintiffs scored a major win today. The U.S. District Court of the Northern District of Texas ruled that key National Firearms Act of 1934 NFA restrictions are unconstitutional for untaxed firearms and permanently blocked the ATF from enforcing them against the plaintiffs, their members, and their customers. So there it is, their customers as well. So again, if you've bought anything from Palmetto State Armory, well, congratulations, you're a customer, right? Suppressive Silencer Shop or any of the other guys. There you go. All right. The lawsuit was brought by Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners Foundation, Silencer Shop, Palmetto State Armory, Silencer Co. That's the other one I was thinking of. B&T USA. Oh, good on them. The Firearms Regulatory Accountability, and a bunch of other ones, including mine, South Dakota based. Judge James Wesley Hendricks held that Congress wiped out the constitutional basis for federal gun registration when it zeroed the transfer and making taxes on NFA items in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act of 2025. The court rejected the government's attempt to save the regulations under the Commerce Clause. The challenged NFA provisions are unconstitutional. Congress' choice to eliminate the transfer and making taxes matters, and the defendants cannot save the NFA's regulatory scheme by referring to a power that Congress never invoked. Efforts to render the NFA constitutional must come from Congress, not this court. That was Judge James Wesley Hendricks. Now, that is a very male-coded name, so thank you, male judges, for being able to read and write effectively. Very nice. So the injunction stops the ATF from enforcing federal gun registration requirements, Form 1 and Form 4 applications, fingerprinting, photography mandates against the protected parties. The court stayed the order for 7 days so the Department of Justice can seek appellate review if it chooses to do so. So again, this is a win, but there's a 7-day holding pattern to see if the DOJ wants to appeal it wants to take it to a higher court, right? Now, it's funny. So if you live in, Alaska, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Montana, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, and Wyoming, you're actually also covered under this. If you've bought anything from Palmetto State Armory, which I have a while ago, but I have, Silencer Shop, Gun Owners of America member, BT USA, any of these other guys, you are also covered under this. So honestly, like, I'm guessing 60% of the chat, maybe even higher, maybe like 70 or 80% of the chat is covered under this. I'm actually curious right now. Are you covered under this? Because I'm guessing you are, right? Under the ruling. Are you covered under the ruling? I'm going to guess there's a huge majority. Like, the only time that you are not is like if you live in a one of the states that's not listed, not one of the 15 states listed, or you never bought anything from PSA, Silencer Shop, Silencer Co., B&T USA, or you're not a GOA member, right? 85% are saying yes right now. I'm sure that'll fluctuate a little bit, but yeah, basically everybody in the chat is covered under this, which is great, right? 100%. Okay, so good on them. Now, again, 7 days. My guess is that they're going to appeal it. My guess is that they're going to fight it. My guess is that they're not going to want all of this to magically go away because they have all this infrastructure and, of course, the registration aspect of it that they're going to want. But something that I have been told constantly by a couple of the holdouts, which is totally valid, right? Of people who did not want to still get a suppressor or SBR, even with a $0 tax stamp, is the registration aspect of it all, right? So if that does go away, now there's really no more excuses for you if you just don't want to buy a suppressor because I guess it's too heckin' expensive or something like that, even though there's like, literally $200 suppressors floating around out there. Now, I am also a byproduct of this is that the gun industry has been doing poorly as of late. One area that has not been doing poorly is suppressors, right? Now it's going to be even more of a run, right? So when we were talking to Otter Creek Labs last week, they went from 50,000 suppressors in 2025 to a projected 80,000 suppressors in 2026. I'm going to guess it's going to go up another 20,000, right? If you remove the fingerprints, the photographs, the e-form process, if you remove all of that, you're probably going to sell an extra, 25% roughly or so. So, we thought it was bad last year with like 112 new suppressor companies showing up to SHOT Show. If not only is the tax stamp gone, not only is the registration, the fingerprints, all of that sort of stuff gone, you're going to see a double run. Okay, it's going to be a double run on suppressors, a double gold rush on suppressors. And honestly, good on them, okay? That's why all of your major manufacturers have been trying to pump out their own line of suppressors, right? Smith & Wesson, Canik, all these other major gun manufacturers are trying to get into the suppressor market as well because the suppressor market is lucrative. And again, if you can just go buy one, no muss, no fuss, either on the internet or at your local gun store, and you can just pick it up, hand them your credit card and walk out same day, not even a background check in a lot of places. It's going to be very, very appealing to a lot of people. Now, SBRs, of course, I think that is also great because that means I never have to see another pistol brace ever again. Not that the SBA pistol braces are bad. They're not bad. They're actually pretty good in a lot of cases. But, it's like anytime I'm looking at a rifle and it's an 11.5, it's like, oh, gosh, dang it. I buy it as a pistol and then I put a stock on it and then you file the paperwork. Well, maybe not in that order, right? But you get what I'm saying. Right. But now I just buy the gun that I want in a normal configuration. I don't have to worry about a pistol brace. I don't have to worry about any of this other nonsense, So my next purchase is a, SBR, which I find the term SBR fine, right? Short-barreled rifle is fine as a term. I don't like it as a legal category, of course, but I mean, I think short-barreled rifle makes sense because like a rifle is like what, 14.5 to 16, and then you got your DMRs and your auto rifles, which are of course longer, and then you got your short-barreled rifles, which is again shouldn't be a legal category. But I'm fine with the term as a whole to describe rifles with short barrels. So I am very, very glad to see all of that. And I think it is going to be a little bit of a boost for the industry as a whole. Something else that I hadn't mentioned, because it's not really my genre, is of course short-barreled shotguns, right? That's going to be good for a lot of gun companies as well. You know, PSA literally just released their 570 clone thingamajig, but being able to buy, you know, 10-inch shotguns, 8-inch shotguns, 12-inch shotguns from the factory without any paperwork, well, any additional paperwork, right? Because it's still a firearm, but suppressors aren't. So suppressors, you should just be able to, you know, no background check, no nothing, pick it up and walk out same day, which is great. But you know, by being able to buy, you know, whatever sawed-off shotgun, breacher shotgun, you know, that you want is pretty neat, pretty cool. Mossberg is going to do well. I hope Mossberg does well. Yeah, lot, and I like it too for other reasons, because that means that with SBRs, you're getting a lot of like sub guns as well, you know, that are designed around a certain stock, you know, not saying the MP7, but guns like the MP7 in that genre, where they all come equipped with braces, right? But now we don't have to pretend anymore. It's like, just, you know, ship it with a stock and it sells as a normal firearm, right? Heck yeah. All right. Now AOWs, that is one thing that is not covered. So AOWs are the weird one, and I even forget that it exists as a legal category. It's kind of like the catch-all term firearm, although AOWs still have the $5 tax stamp. Right? Am I crazy? That one there did not get removed. See, nobody knows about AOWs. Like, they don't even exist, right? Burger Town Crusader says that would it apply to future PSA customers would be great marketing. I believe it does, because I believe it applies to current, past, and future GOA members, right? So if you buy a $25 membership from GOA, you're covered, even now after the ruling. So I believe it would also make sense to be current, past, and future customers of Palmetto State Armory or any of the other places listed, right? That would make sense to me. I don't have 100% confirmation on that, but I believe that's how it works. Because again, even with Gun Owners of America, it was explicitly stated that it covers past, current, and future members of Gun Owners of America. So I would imagine that also applies the same way to the other companies involved, right? 100%. Tajnik says if it applies to future members, that would be very rare in the legal realm. Well, I was told explicitly that it does cover future members. So you can, yes, you can go sign up to be a Gun Owners of America member. I think it's lifetime for $25, and you will be covered under this. So there you go. All right. I think Modern Frontier Project says AOWs were included in the big, beautiful bill. Okay, but that's the thing. Nobody thinks about them. Nobody knows about them. Can you define it for me? I can't. Let's listen to Palmetto State Armory. They put out a video on this. Good on them. 5 hours ago. They're on top of it, so to speak. I will have to kind of block the video a little bit because they do the silly stuff that's not stream appropriate. How could they, you know? Why aren't they thinking about me when they make these videos?
Today, we've got a major victory for freedom to talk about. A federal judge in Texas has ruled that key parts of the National Firearms Act, as they apply to untaxed firearms like suppressors, short-barreled rifles, and short-barreled shotguns, are unconstitutional. And Palmetto State Armory was proud to stand as a plaintiff in this fight. Here's what happened. For nearly a century, the federal government defended these regulations under Congress's power to collect a tax. But when Congress reduced that tax to zero, the government tried to keep every bit of the regulation, paperwork, registration, and red tape that came with it. The court called it what it was, unconstitutional. Because when the tax disappeared, the constitutional justification for the entire regulatory scheme disappeared with it. The government cannot take a law built under the taxing power, remove the tax, and then pretend nothing changed. Today, a federal court said enough. The court.
Also, quick update on the 570s. I did check earlier today, and they did remove all of the John reviews. It is very sad, but PSA has decided that those were in fact not valid reviews, and they did remove all of them. Potentially Criminal, who is a lawyer, I believe, says, no, the NFA isn't dead, and this crap is absolute bullshit, hopium, and grifting that leads people astray. Well, that is a very, very controversial opinion. So, I mean, listen, if you want to come on and talk about it, I'm happy to do so, bro. Unbelievable.
The court issued a permanent injunction protecting the plaintiffs in this case, including Palmetto State Armory, and our current and future customers from enforcement of the challenge provisions.
Yeah, I mean, he says current and future, so.
We also want to give a sincere thank you to the attorneys at Wiley Ryan whose hard work helped make this happen. Now, we want to be very clear. This ruling is currently stayed for 7 days to allow the federal government an opportunity to seek relief from an appeal at court.
Yeah, so I mean, that is my guess, as stated, that the government will appeal it in that 7-day period, and that this will go through the courts for like 2 years, right? That's my guess, okay? But the hopium is that they just let it slide, and then it just goes into effect in 7 days. That's the long shot, right?
It is also a party-specific injunction, not a nationwide ruling that automatically applies to every person and every company in America. This is a win for the Constitution, a win for the organizations, businesses, states, attorneys, and everyday Americans who refuse to back down, and a win that proves something we have said from day one. The government does not get unlimited power simply because it has exercised that power for a long time. At Palmetto State Armory, we do more than talk about defending freedom. We stand in the fight. We put our name on the line. And today, that fight moved freedom forward.
Thanks for the quick video. So again, they're saying, I mean, they could be wrong. It's Palmetto State Armory, right? But that it applies to current and future customers. Now, I am a current Palmetto State Armory customer, whether they actually ship anything to me or not. But and there's a whole thread that you guys can read about all of this. It would help if I made it a little bit more than ant-sized for you all, but talking about the judge's determination and how they decided to look at it, the objections, yada, 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 all that sort of fun stuff. But again, I think that this is good. I think that this is very nice to see. But if I had to guess, this is going to fight its way through the court for a couple of years. And maybe in a couple of years, you guys are going to get the big bad win that you really want. Now, the problem there is going to be that it's going to be during a new administration. All right. And Richard, I don't know if you're a gambling man, but I'm going to bet that that administration is going to be a little bit more blue than our current one. Okay. Would be my guess. I never know if Richard is still here or not, because sometimes I ask a question and nothing happens. Yeah. All right. Perfect. All right. Good to know, Richard. Thanks. I appreciate that, man. All right. Well, you know what? Where do we get to first? Because now we got to move on to other content. We got to get to our lol cows. Okay. That's actually true. Sealhammer has a good point. In a couple of years, the tax could go from $0 to $5,000. All right. It's true. If they can lower it, they can raise it, right? So actually, that is interesting because there's kind of a rush in a way, right? There's kind of a rush to get them removed from the NFA before 2028, right? Because in 2028, the changing of the hands, excuse me, changing of the guards, they could raise it. But again, if they're not on the NFA in 2028, there's not much they can do. All right, John, we already have lolcows in chat. That's true, but we've got new lolcows that we need to talk about, okay? And that is this lovely young man, Black Flag Civilian. Now, I'm going to do my best to be rather civil here when discussing Black Flag Civilian, and certainly not just for YouTube TOS purposes. Right? Black Flag Civilian is what I would consider to be a progressive liberal, which really just kind of means like communist, right? I mean, realistically, that's what it is. If he's going to call me a Nazi, like, I feel it's fair just to put you back in your little communist cage or whatnot. But yeah, Black Flag Civilian. He has a video that he put out that's getting some traction, doing quite well. It's really appealing to his base. It really resonates with his crowd. It is very Reddit r/liberal gun owners coded, okay, because they conversely are the most defective people on the internet, while it's constant game of chasing their own tail, I suppose, and like performative leftness, really. You know, it's like, no, I hate guns as much as you do, but we also need them. But we also need to ban them, but I also need them. But I also support blue politicians who also ban all of our guns. But also I wish they would stop doing that, but I can't stop voting for them. You know? First comment on a live stream. OMG, I exist. I'm real. Nope, you're just a voice in my head. Stop it. Get out, get out, get out. Get out of my walls. Anyways, so let's take a look here. I'm just gonna scroll through this real fast. Yeah, we look cool. We look kosher here. All right, let's see what the left is up to.
Welcome, liberal friends. I'm Black Flag Civilian.
Hi, liberal friends. What's up, my fellow liberals? All right, we're all liberal here in the chat, right? We don't have any chuds here. We wouldn't have any chuds in the chat, would we?
And you might not know it from looking at me, but I believe in nearly all the same values that you believe in.
Well, I mean, you have like, generic Reddit coded tattoos. You got a septum piercing. Like, no, you look like a liberal, bud. Nothing shocking so far, buddy.
I mean it. Like you, I want to build a world where all people, regardless of their ethnic background, religion, immigration status, their sexuality, or gender, live side by side and care for one another.
But what if they don't want to, though? What if one group doesn't want to live with another group and then that group doesn't want to live with that group? What if they don't want to live like that? Are you going to force them to? That's always like the performative contradiction, right? It's like, no, I want all people to live how they want to live. And it's like, oh, all right, I want to live in a place like this. And they're like, whoa, you can't do that. That's heckin' bad. You actually have to live within my little set of requirements of how I want you to live. All right.
Like you, watching innocent people die either from lack of health care or beneath the bombs of powerful nations makes my blood boil.
Yeah, I mean, watching people get killed from medical malpractice because of the invasion of certain types into the medical sector is also quite problematic for me. Seen lots of videos of dancing doctors and scholars that I'm not a fan of. I think has been deleterious to the state of our, medical infrastructure, if you will. Okay, they're quite heavy and taxing on our systems, so to speak. And as far as I think that me and this guy are going to agree on our foreign policy, right? Okay, the far right and the far left, we have some strange overlap when it comes to foreign policy. Okay, there's some countries out there that we're just not big fans of. No, not a big fan of that. See, he's a fan of Palestine because they're brown, and I'm a fan of Palestine because they have Christian churches in them. That's, we're not the same, buddy.
You, watching masked federal agents kidnapping our neighbors in broad daylight fills me with a rage and indignation that I don't even know what to do with sometimes.
Impotent rage, right? It's like that's the weird thing about these people I'm always curious about. Now, you could say, well, your grandma, abuela, who's been here for 50 years, yeah, sob story, blah, 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 blah. But what about all the criminals and the murderers and the rapists and the really terrible people? I mean, they're all a drain, all attacks on our society and system, all a pollution of the blood of the nation, of course, in a metaphorical sense. So I mean, they all have to be removed, of course, but I could see somebody having sympathy for a child or a grandma or something like that. But a lot of these people are just evil, and we really shouldn't be showing sympathy to them over sympathy for our own people, right? And I mean, it is interesting because as much as anti-Zog as some of these people might seem to be on the surface, they'll say, oh, Israel is a heckin' genocidal regime and we gotta stop funding them. And it's like, what was the line? Was it my kike and Moloch? Like, you want all the same things that they want? I think that's the line.
But there's one area where we disagree. There's one issue where we diverge in a fundamental, unreconcilable way. Firearms. And please understand, I know how sensitive this topic is. Before I started this YouTube channel, I was a classroom teacher. So
remember, this is the thing, obviously, you shouldn't be sending your kids to public school. I mean, this is the thing that's teaching your children. And I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know it makes you, maybe ostracized in some circles, but you really can't be sending your kids to be taught by this guy, right? Right, guys? You can't actually send your children when this is the teacher who's spends his day, whining about ICE deporting illegals and, a bunch of other really disgusting, degenerate things that he foists upon your children, right? This is not the guy to be teaching anyone anything. Yes, my faggot in communism, also very good. Also a good one. Good line.
Genuinely, I know what the nightmare scenario looks like. More than most. I've literally had to plan for it myself. I just ask that you keep an open mind while I lay out my case. Let's dig into it.
Part 1, Pandora's box is already open, and it's a dirty, gross box, let me tell you.
There are roughly 500 million firearms in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
More guns than people.
Yep.
4
Math
out of
checks
every
out.
10 households on your street, in your town, all across the country, already have firearms inside them.
True.
Sit with the scale of that for a moment.
Well, I wonder, this has to be for liberals, right? I mean, like, to me, it's just like, yeah, of course, I live in South Dakota, again, one of the most red states in the nation, which we'll get into a little bit later on. Lots of great, wonderful aspects about South Dakota. But I mean, here it's like probably 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10, if not like more than 9 out of 10. Like 95% of homes have guns in them for sure, right? But he's trying to like scare liberals into being like, listen, there's guns all around you. You're just going to have to deal with, okay, the guns are here and they're not going away. So it's up to you to arm yourselves because Trump is a fascist. It's like, right. All right, buddy.
Think about what it would actually take to reverse it. At this point, it's not possible for modest reform to significantly impact the number and availability of guns in the US.
So, I mean, he's kind of like saying the quiet part out loud there. He's like, listen, we can't moderately remove guns from these evil people. So we're going to have to use our guns to do it by force, right? If the moderate option is off the table, he's saying we have to go use extreme measures, right? There's no moderate way to remove 500 million guns from Americans, so we're going to have to do it with our own guns. That's what he's advocating for, essentially, right?
To seriously reduce their availability, the government would have to ban huge categories of future sales, and then somehow remove hundreds of millions of firearms already in civilian hands. There's no version of this project that avoids large-scale confiscation. And my friends, the political capital for something like that to occur in the US simply does not exist. But let's pretend.
I suppose that's the one good thing about America being so divided, is that neither side can do really extreme things, right? Because it is so 50-50 kind of down the middle, right? Now, that allows a lot of area for us to work as subversives, right? Because we are essentially the new subversives, okay? Our country was subverted and stolen from us, and now we're just going to have to do it back. We're going to have our own long march through the institution and our own, maybe reformation's not the good term, but maybe like reclamation or something like that.
For a moment that it did. Imagine if right now, in an era perhaps defined more than anything else by the crisis of affordability, a time when people who have done all the right...
See, here's the thing. We're both just going to agree on affordability. Yeah, no, it sucks. Boomers have been awful. Trump has been awful on that. Right there with you, bud. 1,000%. I agree. We should deport 100 million illegals. And this guy's like, whoa, that's heckin' mean. That they have a right to steal your children's houses and your children's jobs and your children's future. That's like heckin' mean. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. They don't belong here. There's the parasites and thieves and murderers and rapists. And again, just being here and being on the American taxpayer's dime, whether it be through the burden on the healthcare system or what have you, housing, jobs, yada, 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 generic infrastructure, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on and on. Yeah, no, they just all have to go. And then magically, it's like, if you deport 20 million workers, well, the companies still need workers. So they're going to have to open the coffers, so to speak. Because listen, companies love slave labor, okay? If they could get away with putting you back in chains, they would, okay? Companies don't have morals. They don't care about you, the individual. They care about making money, all right? So, lefties, Zog, whatever you want to call them, have allowed them to thrive off of cheap imported labor. And if we simply remove the supply of cheap imported labor, well, they're going to have to either, shut down shop or pay people more money, right? Which is us, which is me and you, which is our children, which is our families, which is our communities, okay? That money should not be going to retarded third worlders. It should be going to retarded first worlders, right? Okay? Us.
things their entire lives are working 2 jobs and still having to rely on food pantries to get the calories they need to survive. A time when even the
Listen, okay, I mean, you're gonna lose me there, bud. Uh, the poor communities that are struggling to survive are putting lots of calories in their bodies on my dime. You know, as a taxpayer, okay, as a quite extensive taxpayer. All right. Yeah, they're quite obese. The poorest among us, and you know what I mean by poor, are quite obese. The calories they're putting in their body are bad calories, and there's also way too many of them. Too many of them. Sorry.
people lucky enough to have health insurance can't afford the endless copays and deductibles to ever actually use it.
He's in. I think he might just be a little special here because, listen, these guys ain't paying copays. They ain't paying their health insurance. They're not paying their credit cards off. They don't like think 15 minutes ahead of themselves, right? These people are doing it again off of mine and your dimes, right? Sure, I'm sure there's a few people in the middle class who are burdened by these things, but it's really just a pressure on the middle class, not on the poorest among us, not at all. Because again, the poorest among us are essentially a parasite class. You know, Section 8 housing, breeding farms, free healthcare, free housing, free food. That's garbage, right? I mean, how many land whales did we see crying when they took away candy off of some of the EBT? You know, it's like, where am I going to get my snacks from, man? They can't do this to me. Oh, where am I going to get my snacks from, man? Shit.
A time when working class people are putting gas on credit cards because if they can't drive to work, then the slow bleed will turn into a hemorrhage that they'll never, ever recover from. Imagine if during this era of widespread economic precarity,
dude, of course the Muslim is a burden on our tax system. Quran thumb, listen, man. You know, I like you being here. You're like the community punching bag, of course, and we have good conversations. But like the fact that you're on EBT and a Muslim, bro, dude, you're not helping yourself, dog. You're not helping yourself. Just and as WFA do says, they have no copay, and my deductible is $9,500. Like, there was a period of like 10 years where I just didn't have health insurance. It's like, you know, I was very lucky. Okay, 10 years, no health insurance because I couldn't afford it. So I just didn't. While these parasites are getting it for free and just being a burden on your local healthcare system.
the political party that's supposed to be fighting to improve the lives of working people spent all the political capital they've accrued over decades to ban guns. How much would that materially change the lives of ordinary working people? Would most people even notice? Now compare that to wiping out all medical debt and passing Medicare for all.
Yeah, now imagine even more taxes. It's like, thanks, I guess. And again, this is just listen, okay. I know that we all in this chat have the ability to hate rich people, okay? Because they'll listen, the billionaires, the trillionaires, the Black Rocks, they're a problem, okay? But that's easy. It's too easy. I'm going to ask you guys, do you guys also have the strength, the will, the fortitude to hate poor people just as much? I'm just kidding.
Compare that to passing a once-in-a-generation jobs program. Compare it to ending home.
Again, all of this nonsense stuff that he keeps warbling on about, it's like just deport 50 million people. Just remove them. Housing gets cheaper. Everything gets, you know, it's like any problem that you have, it just magically goes away. It's like job market will thrive the day after I remove 50 million people, okay?
Or eliminating childhood hunger entirely. It would take
imagine an EBT burger.
Less political capital to accomplish any one of those goals than it would be to institute the kind of sweeping legislation necessary to even put a dent in the availability of guns in the United States. And sure, you can say, why not both? Why not the whole list? Well, we're in the electoral part of the argument right now, and that's not how politics works. You have to burn capital to achieve your goals.
True.
And if you want to win electorally, you need to make a meaningful difference, a positive difference in the lives of working people. Gun control does not accomplish that. In fact, it accomplishes the opposite. It is fundamentally unpopular in the United States. and it will poison a
You know what is popular though? Like deportations have majority support. Like just deport them all, right? And just like even like if we're going to lose political capital, okay? Because I agree with him here that to do things, to accomplish things with the political system, you have to spend capital to do so, right? So just hear me out, okay? If you guys are big Trump fans in the chat, okay? Any big Trump fans, any big Trump defenders in the chat, hear me out. Instead of spending political capital doing Israel's bidding in Iran and raising grocery and gas prices for us here in America, instead of doing all of that retarded nonsense, what if we just took the $1 billion a day we're spending over there and we just put that into ICE and just removed people? You know, that thing that you ran on, right? If we're spending political capital, let's do it on the thing you ran on, not the opposite of the thing you ran on, right? I'm just saying, right? If we could get like, instead of Iran, you know, we'll just let those retards fight it out. The sand people fighting again, shocker, right? Let them do their thing, but we're just going to deport 20 million people. Okay, you know, we'll just do that. How about that? Okay? I think that's a reasonable ask from your base.
huge number of independents against the party that advocates for it, especially if that party does not maintain a robust working class orientation besides.
The working class, yes. So part two, who is doing the confiscation and who gets disarmed? Great question. Great question, right? That's the part that's on my mind, honestly, right?
But for the sake of argument, let's say that it happens. Let's step into a world where liberal politicians in the US pass sweeping gun bans and confiscations. Who do you think would be doing the confiscation? The police, of course. And can we please be honest with one another? You and I both know they are not going to disarm the people most dangerous to vulnerable.
Listen, okay, some jokes write themselves. Yes, he does drive a Subaru. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, you know what? I know lots of people that drive Subarus. They're useful cars in certain areas, okay? You know, I'm not calling out anyone specifically, Ben, but I mean, you know, normal people drive Subarus too.
Communities. They are not going to prioritize domestic abusers, violent bigots, or the ICE and CBP.
Ah, damn it. Violent bigots. I think that's me, even though I've never been arrested of a crime. Oh, actually, that's not true either. I've never committed a violent crime, okay? But I am a violent bigot. Yes, I am violent in my bigotry, all right? Proud, dude, that should be a shirt. Proud, violent bigot. Ask me about my opinions or something like that. That'd be a good shirt. Heck yeah. Let's go. Violent bigot.
Agents currently ripping families apart like it's 1930s Germany. The police.
Oh, buddy, 1930s Germany. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, you know what? Some of the books that were burned in the, you always, complain about burning their gay porn stash, but they never tell you what books were burned in 30s Germany. There are a lot of similarities. Okay, I know it's kind of overplayed to call it Weimerica and all the other, degenerate, awful, evil stuff. In the 1930s, there were some good things going on, like the closing of child brothels. I thought that was pretty based, honestly, pretty good. We could do with some sexualization of children in America for sure. So listen, I think that we have pretty accurately recreated some 1930s problems, and perhaps it's time to employ some 1930s solutions to our problems, right? I mean, that seems simple enough. Seems reasonable.
Certainly aren't going to disarm the billionaires, the insurance executives, or the war criminals.
Well, I mean, see, again, whenever he talks about like the billionaires and the political class and like, BlackRock, Vanguard, healthcare companies, all this sort of stuff, we're going to be basically in alignment. We're going to be like, yeah, let's go after those guys. Yeah, let's take them down. Let's let them stop ripping off the American people, and let's stop spending our blood and blood and treasure in foreign lands. Okay, I agree with you 100%. Me and you are on board when it comes to the billionaires, the trillionaires, the Vanguards, the BlackRocks, and the political class. Okay, it's like we're on the same wavelength. Okay, but for very different purposes.
All this is to say, and again, I say this as someone who shares nearly all of your values, even if you get the purest, most pie-in-the-sky version of your anti-gun legislation, very few of the people who you want to.
Also, I think that he has his focus set wrong. Not that it really matters, but I think the gate here is in focus, and he's out of focus. Again, not a big deal, but just something I thought I would point out.
be disarmed will actually be disarmed. So who would be disarmed? The police are going to disarm 4 groups of people: poor folks, black and brown folks,
Based?
queer folks,
Based?
and the dissidents who dare speak against the regime.
Wait, so is he really I do love this like fear porn, right? The retard lefty fear porn here where they're like essentially the heckin' fascists are gonna come and they're gonna assault the brown people, they're gonna take their guns, and then they're gonna take the trannies next, and then they're gonna come for me. I'm a straight white man, allegedly. And then they're gonna come for me, you know, after they get all of you. And then I'm gonna say, are you sure you got them all? Excuse me. Yeah, you know, it's like, man, if we were living in this utopia that you're fearing, I mean, this hellscape, the dystopian hellscape that you're fearing, I mean, like, I'd be right there with you, you know, but I'm just saying, I think you're off your rocker, bud. I think you're legitimately off your rocker right now. The idea that like trans people are doing anything other than targeting like school children is kind of insane, right? That they don't just dream about committing violence on normal people like me who have a wife and a family, something that they'll never.
Yeah, this dude's cheese has slid off his cracker.
Yeah.
More than anyone else, they will target the individuals who belong to several of those categories. God save anyone who falls into all 4.
Well, don't invoke God. The God that you worship and I worship are not the same thing, bro.
A serious look at history and current events makes this abundantly clear. Because the police, as an institution, but also a large portion of the officers themselves, carry the very same bigotries that you, my anti-gun liberal friends, are trying to protect people from with gun control. People who fantasize.
I mean, I do agree that generally speaking, you know, the average police officer or ICE agent might be generically conservative, right? In like this modern post-enlightenment context of conservative, not right wing, right? See, I'm right wing, right? I'm over there. I'm doing my stuff. I'm actively right wing, far right, alt right, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Conservatives are like, they're so far back towards the middle that they're basically liberal progressives to me. So I'll grant you that police officers are generically more conservative, perhaps slightly more traditional, you know, than like your queer folk that you deem to protect with your white savior complex. Whatever, bro, right? But I don't think that they're, you know, they're the same type of people that show up when you criticize Israel as a chud online, okay? So I don't think that we're dealing in reality here, buddy.
About forcibly expelling every Spanish-speaking person from this nation who wants to.
Well, again, see, that's based. What you're saying is based, but that's me, right? I'm so far over there to the right as to be like not a separate entity from this like middle of the road conservative type thing over here. Because they don't want that, right? I might, right? But I am the bigot thing over there. These guys aren't. They're just normal people, dude.
Criminalize queerness and eliminate it from public life. People who wants to brutalize striking workers.
Well, no. See, that's the thing. Like, I'm actually, you know, pro-worker in a lot of ways. I think the American worker has been taken advantage of by foreign interests and by predatory people using usury, okay? So I'm actually a big fan of the worker, all right? The problem is, again, everything that you support is on the team of the evil billionaire trillionaires that you pretend to oppose, right? You are the useful idiot. Like, sorry to break it to you, bro. You just kind of are you are the goyim. Like, I hate, like, you got the tattoos and the nose ring, like, you're basically cattle, dude. You're kind of a goy. The goy have gone insane, okay? Sorry, bro.
Sorts of individuals are overrepresented in law enforcement, far more prevalent than among the civilian working class.
Well, you can just say that you hate white people. It's fine. Like, I understand that you've internalized that because you're white presenting, sir. But you can just say that you hate white people. Like, I understand it.
United States.
Listen, if I wasn't one, I probably would too.
In short, law enforcement will not enforce gun control laws in the way that you hope they will. These gun bans and confiscations, even if you manage to acquire and deploy the political capital necessary to achieve them, will be used by police as a weapon against the most vulnerable people in our society. And I think both you and I agree that's not the outcome we want.
Well, I mean, speak for yourself. Marginalized people need self defense capability more than anyone. No, that's the problem because these marginalized, like, think about it. This is the funny part. Marginalized people literally kill themselves more than anyone else. You know, it's like black people. Who kills black people 9 out of 10 times? Another black person. Trans people. Who kills trans people, 50% of the time? Spoiler alert, it's trans people. It's like all these people are their own worst enemies. So I know that there's like this nonsense idea that these people are getting hunted down in the streets, but it's like, no, they're just killing each other, right? So, I mean, it's like, what's my enemy? Somebody's out to kill me. And you just show them a mirror. You're like, it's you, bro. Just you.
Next, I want
B. Gerald says, true, get them more guns. There you go, yes.
to consider an argument that we hear all the time. I need guns because I need to.
Oh, also, to be clear, too, Subarctic Psycho's point here, whites are marginalized. Whites are the only minority in the world. We're like, what, 8% of the world population? Whites are literally the only minority that I care about. In any context, it's only white people that I'm actually concerned with actively, right? Asians are looking out for Asians. Indians are looking out for Indians. Blacks are killing each other. The only group that I'm concerned with as a whole, not just on an individual level, but is, of course, just whites.
Defend my life from people who want to harm me. And I have to agree with you. It's easy to roll our eyes when this phrase comes from a car dealership owner. But let me tackle this from a different angle that you may not have heard before. You know who is under genuine threat? The people who sincerely do need to defend their lives in critical.
Let's pull up some statistics, okay? It's like for every one police encounter a black has, he's like statistically less likely to die. Not because they don't get violent with cops, but because they have so many more interactions with police officers, right? That just by volume, right, it drops the proportionality of them having fatal police encounters, right? But if you look at like who is killing black people, it's blacks. Who is causing gang violence in Hispanic communities? It's Hispanics. Who is, with 50% efficiency going through the trans community? It's trannies. Like, the idea that there's like people like me going door to door with guns, removing black people from existence, it's just not true. Like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do anything. I just kind of sit here, bro. I just kind of like hang out every day with my wife and kids. It's kind of nice. I don't have to do anything. I've also put myself in a place where there's like no black people in this county, which is kind of nice.
Critical, dangerous circumstances. The queer couple or immigrant who encounters a violent bigot. The domestic.
See, it's such a fantasy. It's such just a moronic fantasy that they are. It's weird that they fantasize about people like me, right? That they think like we're around the corner about to get them, we're about to get them. And I'm just like at the park swinging with my kids. It's like, nope, I don't really think about you all that much. You're so self-obsessed with this fantasy that you've created for yourself that you're in this active danger because you have no real virtue or value to your life, right? That you have to create this facade that you live in every day where your cortisol is literally spiking, okay? Career-ending cortisol spike daily straight to your brainstem because you're so retarded, right? Anyways, it's just nonsense, though. It's a fantasy. It's not real. It's made up. It's inside this guy's head.
Abuse survivor with a stalker ex. The Muslim or Jewish congregation targeted by a mass shooter. And even
it's funny you say that because wasn't the last time a synagogue was targeted, wasn't it by a Muslim, or was it the other way around? What was that weird one was it LA or San Francisco where they like attempted to do a shooting at was it a synagogue or was it a church? You remember the two kids that ended up killing each other? You remember that? Thank you for your opinion, Richard. Thank you.
setting aside all the bigotry and relationship violence stuff. This includes every poor rural person living somewhere that first responders can't physically reach for 30 minutes.
It's funny. I do love to bring this up as well. One of the poorest places in the United States is White Appalachia, okay? The Appalachian region where you have lots of white people that are incredibly poor, right? So poor that they put Chicago slums to shame, okay? And magically, they just don't have the same crime problems. You know, they just don't have the same gang problems. They have problems, of course, right? Whether it be drugs, gangs, murder, threats, whatever it might be, of course, but not to the same level as like an affluent black community, if such a thing even exists.
Or more. The most marginalized people in this nation.
Again, it's white people. Worldwide, it's just white people.
Poor folks, black and brown folks, immigrants, queer folk.
Dude, there's 1.5 billion blacks in the world. I think they'll be okay. They'll be fine, dog.
The people who have been tossed aside, treated as second-class human beings. The people you and I agree deserve safety and dignity the same as...
But why? See, I'm curious if I was ever to talk to this guy, what does deserve mean? What does rights mean? Right? Because when we get down to it, what it really boils down to for this person is that he hates white people. Well, like, that's really it. Because if I say, no, actually, my family, who has been here for generations, hundreds of years, deserves this land. We deserve to have the opportunities afforded to us by the land that we created, okay? And these people that have done nothing with their lives, their families, their histories, have done nothing for the entirety of human civilization, maybe they don't deserve what my people have built, right? But he'll say like, oh, it's because you're like heckin' mean, or some sort of inferiority complex nonsense.
Anyone else. They need firearms to defend their lives. Not in theory, not in the future. Right now, in concrete, imminent...
Like, listen, okay, Project 1868 says I'm black, but there's only one race, the human race. That's just not true. There are different races of men, okay? And that is the way that God made us, different. It's not up to me to try and fix what God created, okay? You know? And it's okay for people to be different, you know? I just don't want my people to be replaced or displaced because of other people's, okay? There's races to people. It's like, you can't tell me that a 5'2" Asian guy and a 6'7" Bantu are the same person. You just can't do it, all right? No, they both have different strengths and weaknesses, okay? It's just the way the world works, bro. Sorry about it. It's like saying there's no race of birds. You know, it's like one's a blue-footed booby, and there's a sparrow. It's like, no, there's only one race of birds. You look at them and you're like, nope, obviously those are very different and have very different attitudes and predispositions and interests and hobbies, and just generally speaking, okay, there's lots of difference here, but
ways. These groups learned long ago that they cannot rely on the system for protection. For these communities, safety and security has never been a given. It's never been taken for granted. It is fought for each and every day by a web of brave individuals living in and caring for their...
See, I mean, he thinks he's fighting, right? This is the thing about these people that I don't really understand. It's this, like, again, the fake virtue, the fake heroism almost, right? You upload videos to YouTube, right? It's like not really heroic. You're not putting yourself in any danger. You don't even have any hot takes. It's like, congratulations, you agree with every major talking head liberal progressive out there on the planet. It's like, yeah, you're pretty safe. Like, there's nothing you're saying that's edgy or interesting, you know? It's nothing dangerous. It's like, imagine if me coming onto this show every day was like, guys, I'm back in the coal mines of YouTube streaming. I'm here for the battle, okay? I'm here for the fight, okay? And I won't give up because it's so hard, but I do it for you. I bleed every day for my fans. I take the danger because you won't. It's like, no, I stream to YouTube. That's what I do. It's not very exciting. I apologize.
Their neighborhoods and neighbors. I think it's worth remembering that after his home was bombed, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. applied for...
Yeah, but he also is a horrible person. Like, you guys keep appealing to, like, black heroes, and I use that term loosely, but these were just terrible people. Like, he watched women get raped by his pastor friends. Like, he was a disgusting heretic when it comes to the Christian faith. He's not a good person. He's an awful human being. So, like, congratulations that you fell for the psyop of the 1960s, bud. But, yeah, that's all a lie. Yikers. Yeah, probably a gay rapist as well.
Concealed carry permit. And despite his famous commitment to nonviolence, he was regularly protected by armed members of the Black community because everyone around him understood the threats he faced. And this is...
You know, it's funny. The Black Panthers originally were not armed, intentionally so, right? Because they didn't want to be viewed as a violent organization, right? So they intentionally did not carry firearms. And it's not until they were infiltrated by a CIA member, and this is all documented, you can all go look this up, and he's the one who convinced them to start carrying guns and to start being more violent. Now, that should be a lesson to you and I, okay? Because it's pretty obvious that, you know, if you were hanging out in the woods with your buddies and having a nice little group talk or whatnot, and there's one guy who's like, yeah, we need to, like, you know, this guy locally, it's a real problem. We could do something about it. It's like, all right, thanks, bro. Thanks for that, but you're just you're no longer invited to the shindig. That's all. Thanks, bro.
not an isolated incident. Throughout U.S. history.
But again, this guy just doesn't know anything. So it's like your opinion is retarded, your septum piercing is asinine, and you're an effeminate, you know, goy, right? You're just a goy, bro. It's okay. We can't all be Aryan super chads. You just happen to be a goy. It's whatever. And listen, I'm not an Aryan super chat either, okay? But listen, you and I, we're not quite the same, pal. All right, well, let's get to something else. That was just one lolcow, and we only made it like 8 minutes into a 14-minute video, but there's nothing else of interest in there, okay, guys? I feel like you guys are getting a little tired of the tedium. You guys need something to break it up. Well, I present to you the man that CAG is afraid of. That's right. I heard that he was turned down for being too good. He attempted to join the Rangers, but they said that they weren't good enough for him. That's right. He may have the lowest ASVAB score of all time, but what he lacks in brain power, he makes up in hubris. It is XM Fitness One, the best shooter in the world. Now this is going to be funny, okay, guys? Because I was sent some of this guy's stuff, and I really didn't think much of it at all. I'm like, okay, it's another guy online, another goober online doing something weird. Not a big deal. There's a million of them. Get in line, okay? However, this one is special, okay? And special in a lot of ways. Now, you might be looking at this here and just think of generic AI slop, the best shooter in the world, one shot, one standard, excellence, world rank #1. Nobody else comes close. World shooting champion, champion mentality, world champion, multiple time champion, international competitor, record breaker, standard setter, legend in the making, accuracy 100%, speed elite, focus unmatched, discipline unbreakable, mindset champion. I hate these AI infographics, right? Whoever makes these, and I've seen them floating around everywhere by so many different companies in the gun sphere, whoever is making these needs to be put down like a dog. Okay, the next time you ask ChatGPT to make one of these for you, it should reach through the computer screen with a gun and kill you. Obviously, that's a joke. YouTube. Anyways, all hail King Miller. Now, that's interesting. This image here on the side basically sums it up, though. Just absolutely insano. It's Jason Bourne, trench grenade without white face. True. All right. Let's here's another one. Absolute banger. We have electric blue police officer cape. I wonder, is this the violent bigot? The violent bigot that Black Flag was talking about? Maybe this is the guy. Maybe this is the guy that he was warning us about. 23 likes. Good job. Yep. Heck yeah. Now, here's the thing. All right. He doesn't just post AI slop. No. This man is not only a myth, not only a legend, not only a status symbol, but he is indeed the entire standard by which all men are judged. Okay. Just let him tell you himself, bro. He's got it on lock. You should be so lucky to listen to him.
Every last one of y'all that did me wrong, you gonna fall. I'm the standard, not you. You got it because you like. I'm gonna get it because they don't like me. because I put the work in. Look at that. I'm the standard, not you. I set the standard high. Me, a black man, I set the standard high. I am the standard, not you. You want to be me, but you can't get out here and do what I do. I'm the standard. When you look at me, you look at discipline. When you look at me, you look at hard work. I am the standard.
He got that runner's high, you know, that you get sometimes, and he just had to belt one out, bro. He had that just stored up inside him, and he had to belt that one out for you, dude. Mr. Standards, they call him Blade. I mean, he actually does kind of look like Blade. You want to be me? He's not. Okay, listen, guys. He's not out of shape. Okay, he's not actually fat. He's getting after it. You know, he's going on a run with his backpack on. He's getting his sweat on. All good there. He's in like generically decent shape for a bigger guy. I'm not saying he's skinny or lean by any means, but he's in generically decent shape for a big guy, right? I think. Now, what if we had some more footage of him to go over, though, and he can kind of explain his technique, his mental game, the toughness, the discipline that goes into all of this, okay? Because listen, it's not just one thing. It's a whole standard. It's a whole system that goes together to create what you're seeing on screen right now. Pretty good. Yep. You guys got that, right? He, visualized where to put the bullets in the guy. Just across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Visualize the draw and all that sort of stuff. It's a mental game. It's a mental game. You guys wouldn't get it. You're not on his level yet. But maybe you could be there someday. Now, he does have some thoughts here, okay, about a certain group of people that might include me and you. And he has a problem with us. He has a problem with us talking about things and being a little critical, okay?
I've noticed a pattern on Facebook and on Instagram. There's only white individuals speaking negatively about my training.
Well, that's a problem with black people then, isn't it? Because let me tell you, black people should be talking negatively about your content as well, okay? It can't just be the whites. Once again, it's just us holding up society, okay? It's got to be the blacks too. Black guys in the chat, do your job. Do some criticism as well, okay? He needs it, okay? Because as iron sharpens iron, okay? So you guys got to get in there. Give him some constructive criticism. He needs it desperately, okay? It can't just be the whites again holding up society. Jeez.
And laughing faces. It's kind of shocking. Well, it's not shocking. I know exactly what's the problem. I've noticed a pattern on Facebook and on...
Yeah, I also hate this, that the mags are backwards in the pistol holsters. I see people do that at matches. No good people. But I see people do that at matches, and I'm like, bro, there's just a correct way to do this, bro. There's just a right way to hold your magazines. Like, you'll be all right, guys. Like, just do it properly. Figure it out, bro. You'll be better off. Trust me. So anyways, not a fan of white people critiquing him. So probably not a big fan of this show. But now I want to see how he performs under pressure. Now you'll notice that through critique, through criticism, he has flipped his magazines to the proper way. So that is why critique is the only thing that matters. Like being positive on a product, worthless. Who cares? Not useful to anyone for any reason. Being critical of a product and how they can improve, that's useful. My apologies. I'll refresh the page because Instagram sucks, dude. Can you be any slower? You billion-trillion-dollar company?
I've never came on these platforms. So check this out. I've never came on these platforms to act like...
Also, yes, I believe that he is indeed a police officer. So, again, I think this might be the violent bigot police officer that Black Flag was warning us about. It literally might be.
I was a millionaire professional. But I can tell you this. I've been shot at before. I've responded to officers being shot at before. And also, I have done things that I had to do as well to make it back to my home.
What does he mean by that? I've done things I've had to do to get back home. Are you saying that you've killed people? Because he separates it from, shooting in the line of duty to then and I've also done things I've had to do to get home. Like there was a meth head on the alleyway and I just gunned him down dead. I had to do what I had to do to make it home, y'all. That's my mindset, y'all.
But I can tell you this, training, I won't say it went out the window. I won't say my fine motor skills went away, but what I did in that heat of the moment is the reason why I'm still in front of you all today. Experiences outdo training any given day. Why?
What? Experience outdoes training. Well, I just, do the skills magically appear? It's like driving skills. If you don't know how to drive, if you don't have the skills to drive a car in the first place, like needing to get to one place while you have a vehicle isn't magically going to help you. I don't know. The guy's vague posting. Okay, it's too big for my brain. I'm not picking up what he's setting down. Okay, I'm not.
Because experience is number one. And the training come after the experience, whether it was good or bad. And I have experience under fire. Be safe. God bless. So check this out. I never came on these platforms to act like I was a millionaire professional. But I can tell you this. I've been shot at before. I've responded to officers being shot at before. And also, I have done things that I had to do as well to make it back to my home. But I can tell you this. Training, I won't say it went out the window. I won't say my fine motor skills went away. But what I did in that heat of the moment is the reason why I'm still in front of you all today.
All right. Vague posting a little bit. Don't worry, we got a lot here. Now, here is the patented holster slap. Okay, because this got a lot of traction on social media. This very professional movement here, very impressive skills. Now, I don't know about you, but this is how I dry fire. That's right. Slap that holster. Slap it. Slap it good. Otherwise, it ain't going to let go for you. Slap it. We have a slap detention methodology on this. Slap defeated retention. Almost there. Yep. And what is this for again? Like, does he just like getting slapped on the thigh and this like does it for him? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, exactly. Tiernan says, why is he not actually doing it? Great question. Let's look at some of the comments here. A few rounds of tap and pretend and whose apartment complex are you at? Go home and do that goofy shah. No hate. I just don't understand why you slapped the holster. Stage your tourniquet and flipped your mags around. At least you're paying attention. When we get in a range vid, blah, blah, blah. Backyard rust back at it. Troop. Now, I got to be careful with this one because we do have some fine handling, let's say, okay, where he's handling it, so to speak, and he's doing some things. He's demonstrating some skills, if you could call it that. That's right. Too bad I'm going to get hit for the music. My apologies. But yeah, let's do the run and stop. The one hand. Yep. One of my favorites. The one-handed sidestep and holster. Yep. There you go. That's at least holding the gun. Yep. That's something. Okay. I mean, again, what is he actually practicing here? No idea. The one-handed sidestep is probably my personal favorite. Now here, of course, we have the thin blue line final boss, as he has a blue skull and a blue Punisher patch on his oversized water bottle, or maybe he's just really, really short, and so that water bottle is actually normal sized. Also, damn it, the music, bro. Come on, dog. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. But he's got his Amazon belt all kitted out. Yeah, that's right. You got the thin blue lined Punisher skull. All right. I like the contrast there. Yep. Showing off your water bottle. Yep, you got a blue skull on the other side because you think it goes hard. That's right. Fist. Okay, cool. Yep. On your team, buddy. Just like, what is this? Is this just show and tell? Like, this is what my toddler would do when they show off, like, because my toddlers have some water bottles that have like stickers on them, right? This is what they would do, right? They'd be like, oh, look at this sticker. Or my daughter would be like, oh, the Pintas. I got the Pintas on my water bottle. Because she doesn't speak very well. And then we got Blue Gun over here. Let's listen to some Blue Gun training advice. That's what I need in my life. Okay. If there's one thing that I need to improve my training that I'm not doing enough of, is listening to XM Fitness One's training advice here with his Blue Gun.
Individuals at your job take off for a special day with their loved ones. But when you request that, it's a no. Now you tell me if that's not sin. And also, since I gave you that message, what scripture in the Bible speaks about that? The first one that answered correctly, I'm gonna send you $1,000 to your cash app. I mean business, a real $1,000.
$1,000 to your cash app for saying, wait, what was it again? A sin for not letting me take a vacation when you let somebody else take a vacation? Is that generic? Is he claiming like generic racism at work? Did the popo not let him off? They're like, you let Sergeant Timmy off with his wife and kids, but you wouldn't let me go. What's the deal here?
Individuals at your job take off for a special day.
Bruh, dude, top comment. I'll send you $1,000 to stop making content. Ah, that's so good. I'll send confirmation once I receive $1,000 so everyone can see you're a man of your word. I hope you really don't believe this clown. I see Jissy Santiago. Jissy Santiago says, the wages you failed to pay the workers are crying out against you, and the cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. This is the New Testament's clearest condemnation of withholding workers' pay. Of course he's not going to pay. He's just a liar. He's just a liar. Cornball 316, very funny. Unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, show us how you shoot. Yeah, I think it's true. $1,000 to stop making content. I don't think that. No, this woman never got her. The woman never got her money. Not shocking at all. All right. Now we have some real skills on display here, gentlemen. Okay, so be careful. Watch out here. You might get a little whiplash trying to keep up with his gun handling skills. The sheer speed and ferocity.
Trump hates America and hates you and to see. Trump hates America and hates you and me. Trump hates America, that's plain to see. Trump hates America and hates the free.
Statue, at least.
He never cared about workers' rights, doesn't dare have an equal fight. An orange clown in a plastic crown, dragging this whole damn country down. He hates the poor, that much is true. He's laughing while he's robbing you, but we see clear we're
That's ironic coming from a black man.
Wide awake, we've had all of Trump we can take. Trump hates America, it's plain to see. Trump hates America, hates you and me. Trump hates America, that much is clear. Trump hates America, loves Vladimir. Trump hates America.
Yeah, you hate Trump because of Russia collusion nonsense. I hate him because he serves his true overlords, okay? We're not the same.
Ain't that the truth? Trump hates America, MAGA does too. And to see.
All right, buddy. Again, isn't it so good though? It's like the performance, the slap, the lack of skills, the hubris, right? Always remember the contrast with the hubris, right? Like this, bro, wild. All right, is there audio here? Hopefully not. Oh, there's no. Oh, thank you, dude. I could fall asleep to this. There you go, dude. Listen to this holster slap ASMR. Okay, this is better than whatever the heck Logan listens to. Yeah, always remember that Mr. Slap over here is indeed on the streets with a badge. Alleged. Like, look at this. Look at this crap. code name S32 with the Japanese. All right. I mean, look, listen, he's getting his workout in. All good for him. No problems there. Like, I don't, not going to hate on the guy for doing that. That's good. Everybody should be doing that. He's got more holster slapping to do. Actually, I'm curious how many calories per hour you burn with the holster slap. Okay. And then he's got this is the one that I use for the thumbnail, of course, because it's the funniest. Mosquitoes and gnats. Don't let the noise distract you. Sorry, I'll do it a little slower. I was listening to a pastor on the 4th, and he said that for an entire week, the devil tried to attack him through people on social media. He described the constant trolling as being like mosquitoes and gnats, always buzzing, always trying to distract him. That made me think, to the people who spend their time trolling others online, you're acting like mosquitoes and gnats. You can be annoying, but you don't determine anyone's purpose. Distractions come and go, but they don't stop the work God has called someone to do. I'll stay focused on God and not the noise. The first person that tells the pastor's name that started this, I'm going to send you $1,000 to your Cash App. You lying prick. Like, I love the idea of invoking God's name in the same sentence you're lying about sending people $1,000 to their Cash App. Oh, yeah. There you go. Wear a badge. All right. All right. Yep. Posing, flexing, super hard, super cool. Yep. Black Batman steals from the rich and robs the poor. All right, buddy. And I mean, it's just, it's so much slop too. And he really did fall off hard. Like, his new posts get like 2, 5, 3, 47. That's good. 13, 5, 40, 12, 34. Like, he really fell off hard. There are a couple videos of him shooting. As you can probably tell on screen, it does have a low left bias. Man of Steel, that's good. That's good. And I'm not sure if that's, those are his kids, if those are his kids' teachers. I mean, good on him being a family man, no problems there. But just look at how many pictures of himself it is. Like, it's pretty, there's a lot of hubris going on here, right? First place overall law fit competition. I mean, maybe he's fitter than all the other law enforcement officers. I'm not sure how much that actually says. Some people mocking him that he accidentally posted to his page. But yeah, 21,000 followers, fitness model. Oh, dude, he has a YouTube? I didn't know he had a YouTube channel. Okay, I got to be careful here. I don't know what I'm clicking on here. New YouTube video. Let's see. Aw. 6 laws of maturity, bro. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes. Okay, we have 40 seconds. We can spare 40 seconds on this. Hardcore motivational speech by Padrian Miller. So his name is Padrian, and he always calls himself King Miller. All right. So let's listen to his hardcore motivational speech. That's what I'm talking about. New locales. Hello? It's not muted. Is there just...
Yep.
There's no... You guys aren't hearing anything, right?
Nope.
Dude, I wonder if he used music that was copyrighted and then he had to mute the music. Or he muted the whole thing accidentally. That's so funny. Dude, that was a good speech. Honestly, that's probably the best thing he said. Does he have another speech that we could listen to? Best mode in the gym, arm day, no gym, cardio day, outside park workout. Yep. I'm king. Let's click on this.
Then there's even weirder guys like this fucking guy.
You still don't understand who I am.
Oh, dude, no way. What's this comedian's name?
Oh, that's Tom Segura. That's
Tom Segura, right? Because these guys are getting divorced now, right? Because they had a husband-wife podcast, and now they're getting divorced because they're rich, and Tom's like, I want to have sex with younger women.
Yeah.
Oof. So they're mocking this guy because he probably had like some Instagram or TikTok page that blew up because of how cringe it is.
Why I was born. You cannot break me.
Okay.
Once again,
Dude, speaking of breaking, I'm pretty sure that belt is about to give way, okay? All right. I have a little tight. You can loosen it a little bit. It doesn't have to be that tight, bro. It's fine.
Seems in that shirt about to give.
Yeah. It's like, you know that line from Transformers 2, which is a really funny line in retrospect. Okay, Michael Bay had some bangers. Shia LaBeouf is getting accosted by two jocks, and one of them has like a really tight shirt on, right? And he's like, "Hey, do you have a tighter version of that shirt? Is there a smaller size?" He's like, "There's not. I checked." It's literally this guy. He tried to get a smaller shirt, but they don't make him any smaller for him.
Amazing.
All hail King Milk.
You know, I have a feeling.
You don't usually see a muffin top like that. built,
No,
like-
and he had tits. He had really nice jigglers. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
His tits are nicer than mine right now. I hate, I'm thinking Andrew Tate is the OG.
He is
right?
kind of the OG. He's
And-
the prototype for this. Yes.
But he's legit.
Yeah, but that's so cringe, though. I mean, it's just like, it's such hubris, right? In no world would I ever consider recording something like that of myself, right? Doesn't that just like make you internally cringe, like to put those words out there? Like, I am unbreakable. I am perfect. I am amazing. Like, it's very feminine coded. Like, you're doing your daily affirmations, as like some retarded Floyd, but instead you're just like a 85 IQ person, whatever. Okay, anyways, that's enough on that guy. We'll get to your guys' super chats and support now. And then we got a little bit of rage bait. Richard, how long you got tonight?
I'm going to have to head out here pretty quick. So,
okay. Well, hang out for as long as you want. What does this have to do with guns now? Well, you probably missed it, okay? But this is the world's greatest shooter, dude. And I mean, he's a police officer who, has some pretty cool training techniques that maybe you could learn from. All right, Jake? You were paying attention, bro. Cody Fisher for $20 puts up the crosses. Thank you, Cody. Hope you're having a good work. Much appreciated, good sir. We're giving you an OG BTM, good sir.
Funny, this is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money, that's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
That's right. That's right, guys. That's right. Nobody is going to come and take my big toe money because big toe money is unbreakable. Paranthum says, let's do a Q&A stream. While that could be very entertaining for different reasons, I'm going to pass on that one right now. Cody, thank you for the $20. Greatly appreciated, sir. Christ is king. Amrite Boy for 2 says, late hardiness is not a virtue. That is true, okay? But you gotta praise my getting better, okay? I was only 4 minutes late. So in comparison, right, I'm getting better, you could say. Thank you, Amrite Boy. Shelton Reed Whitehead for 250 joules says MVP. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. King Callis for 500. The true king says watermelon, which is appropriately timed. Oops. Thank you for that. Central Sands Defense for 2 says the best workout playlist, or work playlist, I should say, because he's in his police cruiser eating some donuts. Okay. I know how it is. You get bored, nothing much to do, and you're just like, putting on some big toe money in the background while pulling over perps. Okay, it's fun. Thank you, Central Sands Defense. Appreciate that, sir. Chudge Holden for 200 joules says jammin'. Subarctic Psycho for 250 joules says clapping seal. Appreciate that. Chudge Holden for 2 says Richard Pear Bear, which was like 2 hours ago now. And Richard has been pear bearing it up for the last 2 hours. Thank you, Chudge. King Callis for 5 says, Richard, you jeet. You scammed me on big toe money. Anyways, can you send me a cord invite? John, send me an invite to the Discord, not the Discord invite. What? The Discord. I don't even know. Okay, you're going over my head now. I sent you an invite link. Don't complain or else my mods will ban you again. Christ is King. FMDB for my big do. What is FMDB? FMBD?
Not a clue.
F my chud life? No, that's not it. FMDB. For my... Huh. I don't know. All right. Thank you, King Callus. I'll try and figure that out later. Dick Cheney's heart, member for 10 months, says dentist swag, Porsche, Harley, Rolex, and a Mustang AR. Dude, the dentist hate will not stop. Okay. Thank you, Dick Cheney's heart. Unfortunately, your heart did. Jim Eagle for 2 says nobody in military know anything about guns. Send. Dude, I tend to agree with you. Okay. Anytime somebody tries to bring up military or LE experience, I'm just like, all right, buddy. All right, dude. It's time to get you in your nursing home. Deer Hunter, member for 10 months, says, have a good stream, gents. See the VOD in the AM. God bless. Well, God bless you too, Deer Hunter. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're having a good night, sir. Central Sands Defense for 5 says, it's a district court, so it'll only apply to the federal court district that the ruling is in. Well, I think within the ruling, it explicitly applies to all the places mentioned. Again, though, I'm not a lawyer. This isn't legal advice. If you take legal advice from me, you're stealing, like the thing that CRS always used to say before he went to jail, ironically. But again, I'll let the lawyers fight that one out, okay? I'll just, I think it's a positive indicator. Spec for 5 says, speaking of PSA, the 570 reviews got wiped. Hashtag justice for John. Yeah, I'm appalled that they would eradicate, genocide the John reviews on their 570. Some of them were great. Some of them were cataloged on screen, though, for sure. Dick Cheney's heart for 2 says, time for suppressors to half in price and be generic. I don't know if they're going to halve in price, but again, you will see the market fill up. So you're going to see $200, $300, $400, $500 suppressors, and you're still going to see your $800 to $1,200 suppressors as well. But I think the bottom end will fill up a little more since the barrier to entry is going to be so low. So yes, I think we will see more suppressors hit the market for sure. Thank you, Dick Cheney. Potentially criminal for 5. We'll read this one again. Says, no, the NFA is not dead, and this crap is absolute bullshit, hopium, and grifting that leads people astray. I did ask if you wanted to come on, but I just checking my DMs real fast to see if you had messaged me, and I don't believe that you did, because I would actually talk about it with you. If you have a controversial opinion, I think that'd be funny. Thank you, potentially criminal. Appreciate that. Emerai Boy for 2 says, I appreciate this PSA, but I still want the X9. I know, it's like, thanks for the win. I don't really want to buy your stuff, though. I'd rather just have, anything else, right, than this. But fair enough. Thank you, Emerai Boy. Coral Weezer, member for 13 months, says, the new Apple Rain is the best flavor. I did have the new Apple Rain, and I thought it was very apple-y. So if you like apple drinks, if you're a cider fag like myself, then maybe you'll really like it. Thank you, Coral Weezer. We're not starting that conversation up again, are we? We're going back to the Noggers versus cider fags. Unbelievable. Iron Within for 2 says, this is what I do not want. I think you're talking about Black Flag. Thank you, Iron Within. DM Louise for 2 says, bunch of slack-jawed flaggots around here. Thank you, Iron Within. Chud for 2 says, PSA's #1 customer on screen. Thank you, Chud. Chudge Holden for 2 says, can we get an Alex Jones liberal for the real ones? Yeah, you can get a liberal, dog. I think I have it around here somewhere. Kind of retarded. Try it. Where's the liberal one? I have too many of these now. Did I delete it? No way I deleted it.
Liberal. Happy fun, la la la. Human smuggling, fentanyl deaths, forced government euthanasia.
Thank you very much for that, Judge. Thank you for finding that, Richard. It was right next to me. Big Cat for 440 gives me the Unk alert. Very true. Very true. Unfortunately, more true every day. DP Chief for 6 Joules says chili. Okay. It's got food on the mind, or maybe flatulence. Mitzvot for 2 says, Moose slept next to my tent. Not fun. I'm alive, though. Bro, that is a wild experience. I'm glad that you're all right. Although, you know what you should have done? Okay, you should have just, in self-defense, of course, you should have tried to take it out with a knife. Not because you actually needed to. That's probably a crime. Okay, again, don't take legal advice from me. But just for the bragging rights, that you could say that you killed a moose with your bare hands. Right? I mean, that's pretty cool. Right, Mitzvot?
Wouldn't they then be moose hands?
That's deep. That's really deep. Dick Cheney's heart. Speaking of deep, for 2 says 32% of New York State is on Medicaid. Did you also see that they have their state-funded grocery stores, right? But to get access to their grocery stores, you have to show your ID.
I did see that.
Or not state funded, sorry, city funded grocery stores. And to get access to the discounted groceries, you have to show your ID and proof of residence.
I also seen where they have
got borders on grocery stores. Sorry, go ahead.
They have several bodegas now that are selling kratom, which is basically like a non-narcotic type drug that they're selling over the counter in a lot of smoke shops and stuff now. But they're selling kratom to people on EBT.
Nice. Heck yeah. I love the dystopia. Chud for 5 says conservatives are okay with troons and gays marrying. That's true. Yeah, we're not conservative. We don't feel that there's much left to conserve, which is, again, I think reclaimer has a better ring to it. Okay. Thank you, Chud. Power Stroke DL for 200 joules says sunshine. All right, Mr. Power Stroke. McLeod for 2 says Appalachia problems are opioids and moonshine. Yeah, those are white people problems. It's like drugs and alcohol. Like, yeah, I get it, dude. Understood. Thank you, McLeod. Appreciate that. Peter Parker for $10 says people that unironically use folks don't deserve human rights. I think that can go on the list. There's a list of things that like knock you off of the whole human, tree. And I think folks is one of them for sure. Unless you're like really, really hick. Okay. If you're really hick, you get a pass on folks.
Or old.
Yeah, or super old. Thank you, Peter Parker. Appreciate that. Now go save some kids in New York City. Zany Co for 2 says black flag is a flag for blacks. Well, or a fiag. I get what you're saying there. Thank you, Zany Co. Chud for 2 says we all bleed red, and so does a hog. What of it? Yeah, I know all the silly things on the side. Do you remember that meme floating around that liberals would be posting? It's like the X-rays, and they're like, see, underneath the skin, we're all the same. And then doctors are like, well, no, you can tell that one there is from this location and this because of like their hips and because of their bone structure and because of this and that. It's like, and we can tell what gender they are. It's like, no, we're not all the same. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, that was good.
Thank you, Chud. Zanico for 2 says, I see dialysis in his future. I mean, I'm not wishing anything bad upon him, okay? He's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's got a bit of an ego that he needs to work on. And, he needs to work on his hard skills. Start running your gun and less running your mouth, okay? Thank you, Zanico. King Callus for 2 says, night guys will catch the vid tomorrow. God is good and Christ is king. So, see, I got those ones. Thank you, King Callus. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Ike Mauza for 5 says, lots of non-white cops have a chip on their shoulder and signed up to go after whites. Not surprising. That's very nice to hear. I'm so glad that this guy's out there protecting and serving, or aiding and abetting, I guess you could say. Worst is people who were born in India, Africa, etc., being cops. 100%. Well, it's like these people that are from Somalia, right? And they're like, I'm here to support the people of Somalia. It's like, no, you hold an American office. But of course, they're not American. They're Somalians who happen to live here. Nothing more. Nothing less. They don't care about you. They don't care about your customs, your traditions, your people, your children. They care about themselves and their people. That's it. Thank you, Akmauza. Zanico for 2 says he slapped the holster. I love you, man. I love you, man. Shit, oh, man. A little slap, nothing. Josh for 5 says, I'm sorry, John. The jokes fell off and the memes aren't funny anymore. Also, can I get $30? Who am I kidding? You are kidding no one, Josh, because behind those tiny, beady little eyes is an empty, dark, blackened soul devoid of meaning, okay? Just floating around in the chaos surrounding him, scrambling for meaning. Hope you find it someday. Thank you, Josh. Maddie Bizcool, member for 10 months, says, I dig the sweater. Looking good, bro. Oh, thank you. It's because I'm too lazy to put a jacket on. Thank you, Maddie Bizcool. Appreciate that. Rape Holocaust, great name, says, I'm still here just waiting for my namesake. Dude, someday, Rape Holocaust. Okay, we'll all be raping in self-defense. Amorite Boy for 2 says he could have tauntauned a moose and he didn't. Yeah, I mean, missed opportunity, bro. Honestly, we should kind of make fun of him for that. Jarrett over on Rumble says, dipping out if the rage baits me. Isaiah 41:10. Christ is king and God is good. Let me pull that up real fast. Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Thank you. Very uplifting, oh Jarrett. That is the opposite of rage bait. That's hope bait right there. Thank you for the hope bait. Oh, Jarrett. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then over on Ko-Fi, let me pull these up real fast because I know there were some that came in actually way before the stream. So we have Mad Mel, Veronin, KGC Overkill became Ko-Fi Caffeine Creeps, and Conquistador says, God is good, internal job interview, and just got approved to move into a house with the family. Happy hump day, bros. Well, that is indeed a White Pill Wednesday. Yes, I hope that you get that job because I remember you mentioned that about a week ago. I hope that you get the job, get the promotion, and I'm glad that your family moved into a house. That's awesome. That's a big achievement, a lot of stress, a lot of weight probably off of your shoulders, getting that all finalized and done. So congratulations, good sir. Hope that it goes well for you.
What was the name on that again?
Conquistador.
Ah, man, you guys are excellent with the screen names.
Yeah, it's really good. Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, really good. But anywho, on that note, guess I'm gonna have to call it for the night. I've got to get up in a couple hours. So as usual, thanks for letting me hang out, and I really appreciate all of the support and all the prayers and everything. You guys are great.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate it. You have a wonderful night, sir. Get some rest. Godspeed out there, sir.
Gonna try. Good night, guys. Love y'all.
That's right. W's in the chat for Richard, hanging out on another stream where half the time I think he might have fallen asleep, but that's okay. All right, guys, let's move into a little bit of baiting rage here, okay? Although I got to be honest, guys, it's not that rage baity. There's a couple things that are rage baity, but most of it's just like retarded foids being retarded. And dude, like some people just, there's a look about them, okay? There's a physiognomy that's just a little bit off. This is funny. A blind influencer is being brutally mocked after leaving her boyfriend of 2 years because he was ugly. This thing on the right said that her former boyfriend was too ugly, only to begin dating an immigrant man who robbed her just days into the relationship. Listen, she's blind. She still has a sense of smell, right? Should have been a dead giveaway, bruv. Anyways, let's listen to retarded. Anyways, foids shouldn't have rights.
People always ask me, if you're blind, are you not scared of accidentally dating someone ugly? And I'm here to tell you, guys, I did.
Dude, this thing is calling a normal, traditionally, like, I'm not going to say attractive, okay, because that, no homo here, but I mean, he looks fine, guys. He's not ugly. What is she on about? What is this thing on about? What is this blind foid on about?
I did. For like nearly 2.5 years, guys. I recently got ghosted by a man that took loads of money out of my bank account.
And then the next guy that you're with because you're a retarded bimbo, even blind foids, retarded bimbos here. Yeah, the immigrant groid stole from you. That's crazy. You deserve it. Honestly, you're going to be deported with him, okay? I don't really think you're serving your function in society here.
In front of my face. But obviously I didn't know he was doing it because I'm blind. But anyway, that's a whole different story. Let me know if you want that story. So, I am single. What does that mean?
Stay that way forever. Join a convent.
Well, it means I've got a lot more time. I genuinely am enjoying the freedom of being single. If you know anyone that might want to be my boyfriend/girlfriend, then tag them.
This is a human pug on the right. This is what this is. This is a human pug. Like, it's really messing with me. It's one of the most unattractive faces I've ever seen in my life.
In the comments. Thanks.
She looks like a Wallace and Gromit character, which I know is like the meme about British people, right? But I mean, she literally looks like a Wallace and Gromit person, and she's also retarded. Retarded foid L. Now, regular retards that also, some of them happen to be foids, but over in Wisconsin, there was a autonomous zone, much like Chop or Chaz, if you guys remember from back in the day. And police decided that, we've had enough of that for now. Allegedly, it got put back up afterwards, which is kind of funny. And so they decided, we're not doing this whole autonomous zone, disgusting commune. We're just gonna remove you. And yes, as Shadow Force says, the no shower zone, which is unfortunately apt as a descriptor here. I mean, like, they deserve it, of course, but I believe there's a bunch of broken glass on the ground and the people on the bottom are just getting mushed into it like a cheese grater, which, again, you deserve it. I don't really feel bad for you, but I mean, like, I know that doesn't feel good there, okay? But good to hear that they're getting put down. Yeah, we just don't allow communists to set up their own communes where they steal, murder, and rape each other. Like, I feel like it's just a no-go. Like, what is this? Are we Europe now where we have no-go zones because of blacks? Oh, wait. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. We are, aren't we? That sucks. All right. Now, we have a lack of parenting in certain communities. Okay. And of course, I get sent this and I'm like, what is this on about? We have a young obese kid. Again, all of the welfare types. Okay. You know what I mean? All of the welfare types are just obese mongoloids, right? They're on EBT. They buy just garbage. They're not calorically challenged. They're not starving. They're not working 2 jobs and going to a soup kitchen to survive. Nobody's doing that. America is the fattest it's ever been. The poor people are fat and obese. And now let's see what this young man, this young scholar, this young doctor, let's see what his dream occupation and vehicle are. You're never going to guess. You're never going to guess.
Day one, saving up for a Hellcat. Day one, I'm going to show y'all that these are not fake, real, 10 real. Day one, saving up for a Hellcat.
Yeah. What's sad is, though, after this video, he was murdered by Tyrone for $35. So, rip to a real one. You will be missed. Never got that Hellcat. Maybe you'll be driving that Hellcat to heaven or somewhere else. You know, I'm just saying, okay, like, be careful flexing all that money, kid. All right. Your dad's not around to protect you from the wolves in your neighborhood. So don't be flexing on the ops. Okay. The ops are going to come and they're going to get you, bruh. Anyways, now, okay, we got to have a little white pill, okay, because it's White Pill Wednesday. So let's just look at a couple good states for no particular reason. You know, I'm not selecting these because it happens to relate to me.
The state has the smallest black population. Some of these states might. Did you know which U.S. state has the smallest black population? Some of these states might surprise you. Starting at number 5, it's Wyoming. Around 1% of its population.
1.2% in Wyoming, dude. I almost moved to Wyoming. It was between Wyoming and South Dakota. It's not too bad.
Is black.
Good numbers.
Making it one of the least diverse states. At number 4, we have Idaho. It also has a very small black population and ranks among the least racially diverse states. At number 3, it's Vermont. Even with a population of around 650,000, fewer than 2% of residents are black. At number 2, it's South Dakota.
2, not quite number 1. Okay. Number 2. Pretty darn good, though. Okay, not gonna lie, very, very painfully white. Okay, I know that for you diverse city folk, bugs as we like to call them, that's just not diverse enough. It's not vibrant enough for you. But if you can get past the low crime, the high trust, the cleanliness, the lack of homeless people, then maybe South Dakota is a place for you.
Some parts of the state have almost no black residents at all. And finally, at number 1. Only about 0.4% of its population identify as black. Out of 1 million people, just 5,000 are black. It's Montana. Did you know?
1% or 0.4% for Montana. We're at about 1.2%. Crazy work, okay? But with some planning, with some hard work, with a little bit of sweat and toil, we can improve those numbers, okay? Because they're good, but they could be better. All right. Okay, some funny ones, okay? We have interactions between FOIDs and consequences. Now, we have two different types of FOID consequences here. Here we have a... What do we call these people? Because it's like... They're black-ish. Do we just call them like mongoloids, Kalergis? Like, there's got to be a better word for them. You know, it's like mulatto is like not hitting. We got to have a new word for them too. Crackheads, yeah, I think that's fair. Thank you, Bodie Boatface. But here we have a woman complaining about the consequences of her actions. Oh my gosh, look at that freeze frame. No Woods in the chat.
I park for 1 fucking minute.
That is the fire lane. You actually don't get to park there. Right, we understand that you don't get to park there.
I almost shit myself. The motherfucking white piece of shit. He saw me get out and run in. As soon as I went to the bathroom, I couldn't even finish. He gave me a fucking ticket.
Also, you'll notice, yeah, there was a child in the front seat. So you left your child in a car in a mall parking lot by him or herself and went into a store so you could use the bathroom because you're too stupid to plan out your bathroom breaks. You just didn't think about it.
So there goes fucking $50. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. You're white. That's what it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, you fucking cunt.
Well, damn, I've heard you blame everything except the fact that you parked in the fire lane. I swear, the only thing you people are more allergic
Okay. Funny AI edit there at the end, but absolute unaccountable FOID behavior and a Havsy FOID, a Kalergi FOID, okay? The worst types of FOIDs imaginable. No accountability for your awful actions. Now, there's another one. This one I think is funnier, okay? I kind of love this one a little bit. So, police pursuit ended with a woman crashing straight into an Ulta. Now tell me in the comments on scale of 1 to 10 how bad y'all think this is. So, spoiler alert, this woman here decided to once again escalate what might have been a DWI, a DUI, into felonies. Yay, my favorite type of escalation. Yes, let's go. One, we got a black, we got a female, and we got a driver, okay? So it's just all three things that you do not want, okay? What do you never call a black person? That's right, neighbor, or a black female, a driver, okay? Anyways, let's go.
Cutwater. Is it Cutwater?
That's not mine.
Okay, I need to identify you as a driver. Now that I see that in plain view, we need to see your identification, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Hello? Do you hear that?
On the phone, like, I don't know what they think this is going to get them. Like, if they like don't look at the officer, if they're on their phone talking to someone, like, do they legitimately think that they're going to like talk their way out, or that they're going to like call their mama and have their mama talk to the police officer and get them off? Like, is that their only hope? Is that their only option? Like, that's the only thing running through their mind right now is panic, 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 panic. Not my fault, not my fault, not my fault, not my fault. At least it's not on speaker. Oh boy.
Okay.
You know, that was one option. Yeah, you could drive away speeding. That is something that you could choose to do. Now, unfortunately, what again went from DWI, DUI, maybe even just like a speeding ticket or a parking ticket or something, if you're not above the legal limit, you know, maybe it's just a fine. You never know. Well, congratulations. This is now a felony. And now, because she is a black female driver, she doesn't make it very far.
walk up to her side right now, right in front of Ulta Beauty. She crashed into Ulta.
Like, you had time to turn. Are you blinded by the lights and you just drove straight through the front door? Maybe she just, Ulta's like a makeup store. Is that what Ulta is? Maybe this was just part of her robbery attempt. What is an Ulta? Yeah, beauty store. So it's like makeup and brushes and other void things. So maybe this was like part of a robbery plan just gone wrong because she was already being chased by cops before she started the robbery, right? So maybe this is just an inconvenient mix up here. Picking up some giant eyelashes, yeah. Now, look at this. Like, she's not going to stop. She's going to, of course, continue to dig. And in this case, continue to drive through the store. Like, I guess if you're going to go out, go big, you know? If we're going to turn this into a GTA 5 lobby, like, just go for it, I guess.
Stop the car! Stop the car now! Put your hands out the window now! Put your hands up! Put your hands out the window now! Step on! Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Step up! Get down! Get down! Back up! Stop the car! Stop it!
Aww. Like, obviously, this isn't like protocol, but you could just walk up to the window and kind of end it. You could do that. I mean, she's trying to run you over. She's assault with a deadly weapon. You know, I don't know. It's justified. Okay, it's lawful but awful here. Okay, you could just end it right now.
Ray, she just collided with 807. She's trying to move the car.
Stop the car! Back up! Look, back up!
Like, also, I feel like there's some, like, obviously it's a stressful situation for the police officers, right? But if they're not going to shoot her, shouldn't they just drive up the curb so she can't get out of the building anymore? Like, just move the car forward like 10 feet, right? Why wouldn't you just block her completely in and let her run? I don't know, just work it out of her system, okay? You know, it's like a toddler when they're throwing a temper tantrum. Just lock them in there, give them a couple minutes, they'll calm down, they'll fall asleep, okay? That's how we have to deal with these Foids now. There you go. Yeah, block him in. There you go. Good job. Dude, she's trying. No, don't get away from your homies. Your homies need your help, bro. Get up there. She's gonna do it again. Here we go. Oh, but she's she got herself stuck. Aw. Oh, where's she going? Dude, imagine she just comes out another window. How funny would that be? Like Looney Tunes on car chase here. Is she coming back? She coming back? Oh my gosh. She tried to get out the front door. That's so funny. She probably ended up hitting like a pillar and just getting stuck. That's amazing. You know, if she had made it out, like if she had been able to like power her way through, honestly, a goated Ford Edge commercial, right? That's an Edge, or is it an Escape? Dude, that is a Ford Escape. Oh, it's in the name too, dude. It like breaks out of one of the walls, it climbs over, it speeds away, and then it pans to the Ford Escape logo. Ford Escape. Built for criminals. Is it a wait, am I crazy? I thought it was a Ford. You might be right. You might be right. That might be the Chevy version of a Ford Escape. My bad. It would have worked out better if it was a Ford Escape, okay? You might be right. That might be a Chevy. No, though. Oh, you're right. It is a Chevy. Damn it. Damn it. I was wrong. Unbelievable. Anyways, it would have been very funny if it was a Ford Escape. Okay. Just imagine the Ford Escape. You will have to imagine the Escape. All right. But built Floyd tough. It's in your driveway right now. Yeah, I know. Out with 6 months parole. Probably, dude. Probably. I think it's the Traverse because I have an Equinox and it doesn't look like an Equinox. Although maybe it's newer or older. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, do we want to get into real rage bait? Because again, that was just kind of funny. That was kind of funny stuff. It wasn't like, me wanting to unalive people. It was just kind of funny, right? Just it's like a modern day zoo. Okay, we just let them do what they want to do, and we kind of just look at them through our TV screens for fun. But this one, we had a Gary Plash 2.0, basically. So an Ohio dad who hunted down his 11-year-old daughter's rapist. 11-year-old daughter rapist. So it's a pedophile that the dad is going after, is sitting in jail on a higher bond than the man who raped his 11-year-old daughter and an infant. Let that sink in. Yes, you read that right. The father has a higher bond than the man who raped his daughter. It began when a mother in Grove City, Ohio, picked up her daughter's phone and found a video. A grown man sexually assaulting her 11-year-old little girl inside their own home. Single mothers with their children are the biggest target of rapists and pedos because single mothers cannot defend their children. They are targets for these types of people. They don't care about you, you retarded Floyd. They want access to your children, and you give them access to your children because, again, you're a retarded Floyd. The next day, the little girl's father lured the man back to the apartment. The man's name is Diego Montoya Gonzalez, by the way. He got Gonzalez to come back to the apartment. He told police the plan was to hold him there, beat him up, and call the cops. Based. Although, except for the waiting for the cops to show up, I feel like there's a better way to stop the guy from being a repeat offender. When Gonzalez walked in, he reached for his pocket. The father, who had already watched this man flash a gun in a TikTok video, then shot him. Mega based. Gonzalez lived. He ran. Police found him slumped in a chair with 2 gunshot wounds. Police found multiple videos on his phone of children being abused. That's the thing. That's like, there's a part of me that's like, if you find a guy and he's bleeding out and then you find CSAM on his phone, maybe you just don't call the ambulance, or maybe you just let nature take its course. Right? Am I crazy? It's kind of like, I don't know, the father gets his justice and you get to meet your maker. Congratulations, buddy. Not going to look good on the rap sheet, dog. Not going to look good. Right? Don't you just let nature do its thing and you just allow him to, pass this mortal coil. Police found multiple videos on his phone of children being abused. One of them was an infant. Again, it's just, or maybe you put a couple extra rounds into him. Maybe you do it, It's like, what is somebody going to miss Gonzalez? Again, keep in mind, this is the type of person Black Flag wants to keep in your country. Now, here is the part that should make every parent in America sick. The alleged rapist bond is set at $70,000. The father, who tried to protect his baby girl, the bond is set at $100,000. So he has a higher bond than the rapist, pedophile Groyd. Okay, I get them mixed up. A man films himself abusing babies and a judge hands him a cheaper ticket out of jail than the father who snapped trying to defend his own. Again, no jail time for the father. No fine for the father. No arrest for the father. He gets a pat on the back and a key to the city. How about that?
Began looking into 20-year-old Diego Montoya Gonzalez after the mother of an 11-year-old found a video on her child's phone.
The mother of the victim called Grove City Police to report that her 11-year-old child was sexually assaulted by, at the time, an unknown adult male.
The next day, prosecutors said the child's father lured him back to the home.
The child's father started messaging the defendant on a TikTok account as if he was his daughter, stating that, quote, the daughter was home alone because, again, quote.
No, what's funny, guys, is IQ only comes into play when it's an insanity or too stupid to understand what he was doing. Like, we all kind of instinctively know that 50% of the black population is under 85 IQ. Like, we all just know that that's the case, right? Or it's like 52% of black people are under 85 IQ, right? Which doesn't matter magically unless they commit a crime, and then that is used to be like, oh yeah, they're not competent enough to stand trial. And it's like, well, half of them are that way.
Her parents had left. At about 6:09, the defendant showed up to the back door of the residence. The father answered the door and ultimately shot the defendant twice.
The child's father sat in the courtroom as Montoya Gonzalez was arraigned. He's charged with felonious assault, but we're not showing him to protect the identity of his daughter.
So again, this is the perpetrator here. And the guy who shot him is the guy in the chair, right? This is the picture here of the 20-year-old pedophile Gonzalez.
According to a complaint, the father told police he planned to beat Montoya Gonzalez up, hold him, and call for police. But he believed Montoya Gonzalez was reaching for a gun.
Again, who cares? Like, I get that, like, there's this pretend legal system as the judge, but in case you were wondering who the judge was, by the way. Like, who cares? Who cares what, like, is there anything morally wrong that you could do to a pedophile? Like, if you hung a pedophile, if you, put a, Vlad the Impaler staked him to the city park, if you flayed him alive, if you used his skin as a flag, if you burned him alive, is there anything morally wrong one could do to a pedophile, right? Bradley Wood, what are you talking about? I sincerely doubt that. But yeah, hey, shocker, the person who shoots a pedophile gets more, doesn't kill the pedophile even, just shoots the pedophile, wounds the pedophile, gets more, a higher bond than the actual pedophile himself. Fantastic work. Thank you so much, this world that I am forced to live in and occupy with these people. Now, here's one more. Okay, we'll do one more, and then we'll get to your guys' support, and we'll get out of here. But this is Gresham Police. Now, I used to kind of live in this area, and actually the person who sent this to me is local to this. But here we have the true threat to Black people in America, okay? And spoiler alert, it's basically themselves. So, shooting investigation, August 1st, 2026, Northeast 188th Avenue and Burnside Street. 2 Gresham U's are in custody. Excuse me. Damn, that is hard to read on there. They should format that better. Critically injured a 17-year-old. So here we have 3 of these guys. 1, 2, 3. These U's here. And they are going to shoot at... Oh, my gosh. Pull out a gun, start shooting, start running. But don't worry, guys. They're about to come back with even more hardware. See... The guy, I don't know if he had that AR like under his shirt, and then he comes out and just shoots it like a pistol. But here's the thing. These people, I use that term loosely, are sitting here shooting up apartment complexes, shooting up buildings, endangering the lives of countless real people, countless real humans by their actions, right? And these are the types of people that do need to be removed from society. But there is kind of a point that I do want to loop this back into. As you remember this guy from earlier in the stream, right? Black Flag. You have to remember that this person, this type of person here, the white presenting liberal, right, is the type of person that allows these to exist, that allows these people to do what they want to do. And if you or I were to stop these people in the commission of their crimes, we are the hateful, violent bigots. And listen, if it takes a hateful, violent bigot to remove some problems for society, sorry, Soy Jack, it's time for the chuds. It's time for the violent bigots to have a turn at the wheel, okay? My apologies, but we're going to get some work done. The shooter was described as marginalized. Yes, and we're not just talking about his arteries now, are we? Actually, that one looks Hispanic. To be fair, that one's Hispanic. Still gets deported or, otherwise dealt with. This picture sums up America, doesn't it? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white officers risking their lives, protecting the citizenry from the nons, the ethnics, the others, the blacks, the Hispanics, the Jews. I'm just kidding. They don't protect us from them. But you know what I'm saying, right? And keep in mind that, again, the liberals will be like these evil white police officers. They're just hunting down browns in the streets. they're going door to door and they're killing trans folk. And it's like they arrive to a mass shooting or an attempted mass shooting and stop a guy and stop a Hispanic kid who's 18 years old from attempting to murder a 17-year-old. It's so pedantic. It's so obnoxious. It's so performative. These liberals.
Yep, he's got an AR on him.
All right. Pull it out. Just pull it out of his pants.
Dude, with the drum mag too, dude. He's got that thing on him, bro. Let's see. What are we dealing with here? Oh, you know what? Actually, pull this up. Jarvis and Hans. Let's see. So we have a Vortex Spark or a Vortex Crossfire 1 red dot. What rifle is that though? Because it's kind of using the not PSA. Maybe it is a PSA. It might be a PSA. But what's that logo? Is it Delta Team Tactical? Is it Expo Arms? It's a cheap one. Whatever it is, it's a cheap one. I can't quite make out the logo. Is that an M&P Sport 3? Is it? Oh no, wait. Is that the High Point? Is that the High Point logo? Like, I honestly can't tell. But if it is the High Point logo, and I think the High Point had that dust cover too, you might be right, with a Vortex Crossfire 1 and the D60. Unbranded? I don't know. Yeah, the 17-year... Again, it's like... The narrative of these liberals is like the police are just rounding up innocent Browns in the streets. Like, and then you look at the footage and it's like they're shooting into an apartment complex with women, children, and old men. And it's like, I don't know, bro. Maybe the police should be way more brutal. I'm actually on the side of police brutality now. It's kind of like the whole body cam thing, right? It's like for a while, liberals were like, we have to have body cams to protect the poor brown people. And then after it exposes all of their actions and all of the hilarious footage that we've got, they're actually now campaigning to remove body cam footage because it exposes them for what they truly are, right? You know, it's listen, body cam footage is some of the greatest like red pill material for boomers or for the youth. Lots of people. Can you show me a picture of the other two? I want to see the other two. Oh, it's not going to show me the other two. That's too bad. Tragic. But yeah, that was a local shooting to one of the guys. And what extreme nonsense we have to put up with. Okay. And we'll end with this one because I think this one's kind of funny in terms of at least the verbiage being used, right? So New York Post says, New York police bigwig was getaway driver for goon son in gangland shooting. Police bigwig getaway driver for a goon son. Goon, huh? I hate goons. I hate gooners so much, dude. Down with the goons. We need to hashtag kill all goons. Am I right? Am I right, chat? We need to remove the goons from society. You know, you're out there, you're checking your ATM, you're checking your balance, you're pulling out $40 late at night, and you're looking around thinking, there could be goons here. There is a simpler word. There's a more efficient word. There's a more correct term that we could all use. One, women shouldn't be in any positions of power at all. And two, we need to remove the goons from society. My apologies. Sorry to all the goons out there in chat, to all the real gooners. Chud for 2 says, hypergamy at its finest. I'm lucky I'm 6'5", total void death. Yeah, going back to that, the woman with the crazy eyes, that is a hard look, isn't it? And I mean, like, physically hard to look at. It's like, something wrong with that face. Fetal alcohol syndrome or something. Lightspore for 2 says, Hawkeye or Logan would hit. Maybe with a brick. Thank you, Lightspore. Appreciate that. Polly B for 5 says, she's blind. She literally cannot judge. This is intrasexual female competition and sabotage. Long and short, Pierre Foyd's environment failure. Well, it's crazy that she's literally blind and still hypergamous with looks, right? The guy that she was dating was too ugly. It's total Foyd retardation. Like, literally, you shouldn't have options. We're just taking away your rights. Polly B for 2 says, I say sometimes halvesies, and they are the worst. You think they'd be better though, right? You'd think halvesies would be like more normal, for lack of a better term, but sometimes I think it's actually is a problem because they have the worst of both worlds. They're a little bit higher like IQ, but then they have a horrible upbringing, of course, because half of their parentage. And then they also still have the aggression, still have the lack of self-control, the lack of impulse control, right? So it's like all of these things combined make them worse. Subarctic Psycho, member for 16 months, says, I could fly a 747 through that gap in her teeth. Which one was that? Let me find that chick again. This one, was it? It was definitely this chick that you were talking about, the gap in her teeth. There's got to be a good screenshot in here somewhere. This one's equally hard to look at, though, for different reasons, right? Obviously, complaining, whining, talking. It's like very painful. Please stop. Ugh. Polly B for 10 says SOP needs to simply add shooting the radiator. Large surface area, obvious in most cars, spares the driver, not instant, but engine will fail eventually. Yeah, I don't know what the SOP is for disabling vehicles, but because it's not instant, it's like a cost benefit analysis. How many bullets do I want to shoot at a moving vehicle? What's in front of the vehicle? What's behind the vehicle? Obviously, if the car is stationary, like maybe that's an option. But if the car is stationary, we should just get the driver. You know, it's like shooting tires. Does that technically work? Kind of. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot of risk involved there that I don't like. So as a police officer, if I was like a department head, I'd have to really consider that. I'm sure the police officers in chat are like, no, that's a terrible idea. Or they're like, dude, we wish we could. Thank you, Paul B. Appreciate that. Paulie B for 2 says, you call the ambulance upon pupil dilation. If you know, you know. Yeah. You just wait a couple minutes till nature takes its course. And then after the body starts going a little cold, then you can call the ambulance, you know? It's like, I don't know what happened, bro. It's crazy. Rawani for 5 says, look up funny church videos 169. Are we really doing this? There's no way that we're looking up funny compilations on a Wednesday night stream. Funny church videos 169. No way. No, you're in. Okay, how about we watch 30 seconds of this? Okay. Okay, but that's also the thing. It's like funny church videos and they're all just blacks or Pentecostals. That's racism, okay? Whoa, relax, buddy. Yeah. Blacks being underwater. Sometimes they get a little scared. It's okay. It's all right. Gonna get hit for music so hard here.
Drag your ass across the finish line, blood dripping, leg broke, and you gotta win wounded.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go back. What did he say?
You gotta drag your ass across the finish line, blood dripping, leg broke, and you gotta win wounded.
Is my twerking for Jesus?
You don't want to do.
Yep. Thank you, Rawani. That was very funny. Thank you for that. That could be an entirely its own stream. You could probably find hundreds of hours of content of that sort. Thank you very much, Rawani. 168 more to go. That's funny. Paulie B for 5 says the content of their characters is an E-type silhouette. Yeah. Well, it's like, what if we were really just judging them for the content of their character all along? You know? Sorry, Mr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yeah, we actually were judging you by your character. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Okay, one more over on Ko-Fi, and then we're gonna get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Jarrett for 5 says, have you ever been to or are familiar with wild pheasant hunting in Aberdeen, South Dakota? I go about every other year with my brother to a farm he used to work on. The clip about the SD demographics reminded me of this. Aberdeen is several hours away. I've been there a couple of times. I mean, I've never been pheasant hunting. I'm not much of a hunter. I mean, I know it's really big in the area, but I mean, I'm always down to hang out. I don't care. if it's fun to do, it's fun to do. Thank you very much, Jarrett. Appreciate that, good sir. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out, for spending your Wednesday evening. I hope your week is going well enough. You know, we got a few days left before the weekend. You got to hold out. You got to finish strong. I should come up with something like really dramatic to go through with and like leave you with a really emotional speech or something that's so motivational. Or maybe I should be like this guy and promise you guys like $1,000, you know, if you say the correct Bible verse or something like that. But instead, thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for supporting, for lurking, for just hanging out, commenting, making memes, and making memories, okay? Hanging with the bros. You guys are the highlight of my week. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Get out there, get after it, get some work in, get some cardio, get some dry fire in, all of the fun stuff that you should be doing anyways, ladies and gentlemen, because we got a long road ahead. We got a lot of fun stuff to do, okay? And there's a lot of hardship that we get to go through. You and I, we get to do it, okay? It's not that we have to do it. It's that we get to do it, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Christ is King. God bless. Godspeed.
Mossad, we're occupied by Zog.